Welcome back, everyone, to Fantasy Endgame. It's Tuesday, aka waiver wire night for a lot of you. Some of you, your waivers will be running tomorrow, so we're going to help you make sure you get the right picks, but also the right fab because some of those picks might be obvious. I have a feeling we'll have some questions about a Dolphin running back or two. And then we'll also do a quick recap of what went down. We had two games on Monday night, which thankfully, look, I love me some football on none Sundays, but I'm kind of tired of the two games at once thing on Monday. I think one is enough. So we'll go over those real quick and talk about some of these trades you guys might have. This is definitely the season. I'm noticing, of course, waivers are every week, but have you noticed that the trade talk is now picking up? Now people kind of have a feeling of who they like, but also people are like, oh, I'm 1-2, I'm 0-3. I need to do something, right? If you notice the chatter's picking up.
Oh yeah, I even said it. If you've watched a trade video right in the intro, I said week 4 is like one of the best weeks for trading because like we have a decent amount of info now, right? And people have seen their team for 3 weeks and are kind of like, oh, like they're either like, I'm set, or they're like, oh my gosh, like my team is not as good as I thought it was going to be. I need to make some moves, or I'm gonna be out of this thing soon. So yeah, week 4 is one of the best weeks for trading. Absolutely.
Yeah, that or, oh no, every single running back I have is hurt. It also necessitates trades. And look, if you're good, if you're stacked at receiver, then, that's fine. Sometimes you have to make a deal that, you deal from an area of strength to boost something. So that's fine. But don't make the wrong deal. Don't trade out of desperation and take a bad deal. So that's also why we're here to help you. So we'll answer all your questions and your comments, at least as many as we can. If you've been with us, we're fortunate that this season we have too many comments and too many questions on our live streams. We have hundreds, and so we will have to pick and choose. If you do the super chat, we definitely will answer it. We'll stay on as long as it takes to make sure all of those are answered. And we do have some people. In fact, I just noticed we have a new member using that membership, and we'll of course put up comments from our YouTube members as well. So let's talk quickly about last night. There's really not a lot to talk about other than the fact I think I can sum up those two games in probably 2 sentences. Number one, Jamar Chase is still alive.
Yeah.
And number 2, Baker Mayfield is who we thought he was.
Yeah, you're right about that. And you're talking about the 2 Monday night games. Like, I'm okay with having 2 games on Monday night, but not when they overlap and not when they're always bad games. I mean, like, if there were 2 great games, it might be better. But you're just putting these terrible teams. Like, just give us one Monday night game, please. We're gonna have to sit through one bad game. I mean, a bad game. Just only make it 1, not 2. But yeah, if you panic traded Jamar Chase, I don't know what to tell you. If you smartly bought low on Jamar Chase because somebody in your league was panicking on Jamar Chase, congratulations. You have a legit league-winning player on your roster now that probably just put your team from being like really good to the championship team now. So yeah, and look, for the first time maybe ever, I recommended Baker Mayfield as a potential streaming option in deeper leagues. That will not happen again.
Last time.
Right? First and last time.
Yeah, because the Philly defense wasn't that good the first 2 weeks, but I don't know why it is. Maybe kind of a like that Super Bowl hangover kind of thing, and there were some injuries, but this is still one of the most talented defenses in the league. They just didn't show it the first 2 weeks, and then Baker Mayfield showed true colors. I don't need to harp on that, but yeah, look, here's the thing: we always preach this, and we talk about. We'll say some things that sound kind of contrary to popular belief. We'll say things like, how can you think this? How can you? Because you have to look at the big picture. If you are panicking about Jamar Chase, like legitimately worried about him, you're overreacting. Okay. And if you are trading him away, no. Okay. Sorry. Not going to happen. Joe Burrow is not out for the season. Look, Joe Burrow didn't even have a good game, really. Look, statistically, he didn't throw a touchdown. He didn't have good numbers. And Jamar Chase still went off. So T. Higgins, I get, maybe you're a little worried, but hasn't T. Higgins done this before too? Didn't he start out slow before? I mean, we're not also panicking on him, are we?
No. And I mean, he dropped some passes last night. It could have been a way bigger T. Higgins game. Like, yeah, don't now panic on T. Higgins and panic trade him too. Like,
No.
Please.
No.
Please.
And people will look and say, we're still saying, yeah, you should be starting T. Higgins as long as Burrow is out there. How can you start T. Higgins? Look what he's done. Okay, just, you know what? Wait and see. Just wait and see. I think Higgins will be fine. If anything, you could be buying low on him right now. So we'll just throw that out there. All right. We do have to also talk about, let's see, what else is in the news? There was something else we were going to talk about. What was it? My mind is running blank.
The Dolphins running backs.
The Dolphins. That's right. The
best team in the NFL.
The best team in the NFL and the best running back. No. Okay. Look, it's obvious who the number one waiver wire pickup is going to be, and it's okay if you didn't know Devon Achane was going to go off for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns. I'm pretty locked into the Dolphins. I didn't see that coming. Nobody saw it coming, and that's okay. So here's the question. We kind of talked about this last night. Are you using the number one waiver priority? Yes. Okay. Are you throwing all your fab to get him? No. I don't think so.
No. And like, speaking of the surprise that was Achane, I like the comments we get like, you told me to drop Achane and pick up Tyjae Spears. Like, I'm really sorry I told you to drop a running back who had gotten 1 carry and wasn't even active in week 1. For a running back that was out-snapping Derrick Henry. I'm very sorry I told you to do that, and I didn't see that we didn't see the 200-yard out of nowhere game coming. Like, my bad, our bad. But no, I'm not dropping all my fab. I know last week I was like, drop it all for Jerome Ford, but look, Jerome Ford is clearly the lead guy in a great running. Now, it might not be as good of a running offense as the Dolphins, but look, we got to see this offense this week against the Bills, because that Broncos run defense is a joke, an absolute joke. But Jerome Ford is the lead back on a team with a great offensive line that we know is not going to just, throw the ball first, second, third, fourth, fifth down, like every down, right? They're going to actually lean on the running game to some degree. He's going to get most of the goal line work. He's going to catch passes. This is still, look, Raheem Mostert is still the number one running back here.
That's true.
Achane certainly has a role. Remember, coming into this week, we're like, we don't even know how much he's going to play. Is he even going to play? Like, the only reason he probably got as many snaps as he did is because Salvon Ahmed was out. And then, of course, they were running wild on him, so they just kept giving him and Mostert the ball. They didn't throw it a lot because it's like, why would we throw the ball when every time we run it, we go for 20-plus yards? Like, why even throw it? So, like, you still know it's Mostert's backfield. Jeff Wilson is coming back, and whatever you think of Jeff Wilson, Mike McDaniels obviously likes Jeff Wilson. He traded for Jeff Wilson. He brought him here. He's a serviceable, capable running back. Salvon Ahmed was ahead of Achane, last week until he, didn't play with an injury, but he was ahead of him on the, so this isn't a situation where I just feel like, oh, it's Achane's backfield now because he had such a big game. He's still going to be splitting with Mostert, best case. Might be a 3-headed kind of thing when Jeff Wilson comes back. It could even be a 3-headed thing if Ahmed's back this week. So I'd be willing to spend I would definitely use a number one. I'd probably be willing to spend like up to half or slightly more of my fab if that's what I thought it would take. But this doesn't feel like a guy that you want to blow all of it on. But it's certainly not a guy you want to be skimpy with either, because if he is the real deal, you definitely don't want to miss out.
Yeah, so I'll just have to just say here, because it seems like you have to be. Some people just think this way. Like, I get it. Like, we would just want it is or it isn't. It's black or it's white. So either he's a league winner and the best running back in the NFL, and I have to start him every week, or no, he's a waste of time and it was just a complete blip. It's somewhere in between.
Right.
He will have some really good games in the future, and he will have some not so good games in the future. Is he worth adding? Definitely. Yeah. Pick him up, of course, if you can. Is he going to be, the Lord and Savior of your entire fantasy team and help you win a championship by himself? No, probably not. So spend up on fab. Sure. You don't have to spend 100%. If somebody else is going to do that, okay, fine. You win. You get Devon Achane. I don't think he's going to be like a Chris Johnson 2.0 I don't know if some people probably don't remember Chris Johnson. He ran for 2,000 yards one season. He's really fast before Derrick Henry's time in Tennessee. So, look, he's going to be up and down. It was a perfect storm of things. Number one, the game script, like you said, they didn't have to pass. They were run. Savon Ahmed was hurt, so he got a shot. Jalen Waddle was hurt, so they decided to run the ball. Hey, it worked because Denver's terrible at defense, apparently. But Raheem Mostert also scored 4 touchdowns. So it's like it's going to be split. It is a split backfield. It is a good offense. But anyways, so Shane, yes, add him, but don't expect him to single-handedly like put your entire team on his back and carry you to, the ship. So, all right, we do want to get to your questions and your comments, and we'll get to those in a second. First, a quick reminder, Underdog still giving away the opportunity to win free money. That's right. If you're new, this is a perfect time because there's another new customer special. It won't necessarily do this every week, but they have been so far. So this week it is Jared Goff, half a yard. Goff's been pretty good. Doesn't even have to be good. He just needs a yard. So this Thursday, before that game starts, if you're new, if you haven't checked out Underdog yet, take the higher with Goff, pair it with any other pick you like, and just 2 picks, one of them of which is a gimme, you can triple your money. Make sure that if you do sign up, you use promo code ENDGAME because besides helping us out, that helps yourself out because you get a deposit match up to $100, dollar for dollar. So you basically are already doubling your money just from putting money in there. So see how that works. A very good chance that you can win. Just need to get 1 pick right. And you can go up to 5 at a time. They're also giving not just the new specials for new customers, but also all sorts of other gimmies, the freebies, or for a half a yard on Sunday. This weekend, we'll talk about those as well. So there you have it. New customers, check out. You can use that link below. Use promo code ENDGAME. All right, let's get to the questions. Sam is the first one today. Sam Weatherly, what's up? Dynasty question. We love dynasty questions. We don't get enough dynasty questions. 12-team super flex. Would you trade Hurts and Devontae? This is going to be a good one. Wow. This is a haul.
Wow.
Hurts and Devontae for Jordan Love, a top 2 pick for this year, a top 5 pick, and another first and a second.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Because, look, Jordan Love, I think, it's a 3-game sample. I guess we had a game last year too, but I think Jordan Love at this point we can feel fairly confident is at least at worst an every week QB2 in Superflex. Maybe even, and he could even get into the low end QB1 discussion here pretty soon. You're getting the top 2 pick, which will probably be one of the quarterbacks. There's some good quarterbacks in this class. So you're probably getting one of the quarterbacks. And if you get the number 1 pick, you're getting Caleb, probably. You're getting a top 5 pick, which will probably be a stud running back or wide receiver in Superflex. Then you get a first next year. Now we don't know what that is, but whatever. And a second. So basically you're turning Jalen Hurts and Devonta Smith into Jordan Love, potentially Caleb Williams, and potentially, I don't know. I don't know if Marvin Harrison will be one of the running, but whatever, right? You're getting you're getting 2 good quarterbacks and a potential stud running back. I mean, it's very rare that I'm going to say trade Hurts and Devonta in Superflex Dynasty, but I think for this, you pretty much have to. You have to.
I think you have to do this. And look, first let me say thank you, Sam, and reminder for everyone else, gave all the details that we needed. It's a 12-team. It's a PPR league. It's a Superflex Dynasty. So all those details in saying it's a top 2 pick, a top 5 pick, all that makes this much clearer. You have a top 2 pick. In Superflex, you're getting one of those top 2 quarterbacks, probably, hopefully either Caleb Williams or maybe May or somebody else. And then you're getting a top 5 pick. Also, you have a quarterback and a receiver who can replace Hurts and Devontae, which will be younger. I don't think it even has to be a rebuild just to make this a smart move. You know what I mean? Oh, well, I'm rebuilding. Okay. I have a stud QB and a stud receiver who are younger and just as good, if not better. I mean, look, Devontae Smith is a stud. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. or whoever else you can get there probably will be a stud too. So, and then Jordan Love, you're getting a starting quarterback. Yeah, I think you have to do this. I mean, again, you're getting all this for the first round, yes, I'm going to do it. What's up, Big Luscious? Barely took the dub. I like that. I got the bear clothing shirt. I think that's what he's referencing. Took the dub this week. Man, I also pulled one out that was by a point, or no, 2 points, I think.
Look, you want to talk about league winners. I know DeAndre Swift isn't on anybody's waiver wire. But DeAndre Swift could legit be a league winner, not only because you drafted him. Look, how many times every year do people say, like he'll never be anything, like a talented guy, and like, oh, never, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh wait, look at there he is. He's finally getting his opportunity, and look what he's doing. But not only because he's like obviously in a great situation now and clearly the lead back, but have you seen the Eagles' playoff schedule for the fantasy playoffs? It's Seattle week 15, horrible against the run. The Giants week 16, horrible against the run, and the Cardinals week 17, horrible. If DeAndre Swift is still healthy going into the fantasy playoffs, anybody who makes the playoffs with DeAndre Swift, congrats, you won. You win. You win. Like the 3 dream matchups.
Yeah. And look, you ask me right now, who would I rather have the rest of the season, DeAndre Swift or, Raheem Mostert? It's DeAndre Swift.
Oh,
DeAndre Swift or Devon Achane? DeAndre Swift. So.
Yeah, for sure. He looks like a real potential league winner.
Yeah, definitely could be a league winner. And I even saw, it's not to dwell on this, a stat like, oh, well, it's a 1A, 1B because Gainwell got some percent of snaps and Swift. It doesn't matter who did what with the snaps and who did what with the touches. You have a guy who's averaging, 2-3 yards a carry versus a guy who's averaging 6 yards a carry. Like in some cases, the snaps aren't as important. All right. And then Jason, also a member, start 2 of these. Kamara, Mostert, Cooper, Zach Moss. Kamara coming back from the suspension. All right. And then different league, you got 2 receivers.
You can't bench Mostert right now. I know we're talking about it and we're saying, like, look, at some point it's going to stop. Raheem Mostert is not going to finish as the top scoring running back in fantasy. I remember last year when CEH was like a top 3 running back after week 5. Remember? And everybody was like, this is it. This is the CEH breakout. And then that was the end of that. That was the end of that. But for right now, you got to keep starting Mostert if you have him. And look, I know Zach Moss is interesting. He's played well. He's getting all the touches. But I can't sit Amari Cooper. If it was standard scoring, I mean, it doesn't say here. I'm assuming PPR. If it was standard scoring, maybe then I could go Zach Moss. But in a PPR league, I got to go with Cooper. He just has too much weekly upside. So for me, it's Mostert and Cooper.
Yeah, even we know it's not going to hold up all year. When a guy is playing that well, that hot, you just keep riding the hot hand, right? It's like we talk about Puka, saying keep starting him until he shows that he's not a stud, right? He didn't have huge number last night, right? But he still is getting targeted a lot. He's still been, the top weapon. You keep starting him. I think with Mostert, you have to keep going. Kamara, I'm not going to start anyways. I'm not super interested in Kamara. And then, I would go Cooper. Okay, what about Michael Thomas or McLaurin? Different league.
I guess I got to go Michael Thomas. I don't even like Michael Thomas that much this week, but how do you play Terry McLaurin on the road against Philly with the way Sam Howell is playing? That's just – look, I hope McLaurin comes through. I hope he catches a touchdown, but man, you got to be really, really bold to put McLaurin in your lineup right now. As much as it pains me, it's got to be MT.
Yeah, McLaurin. Sam Howell's looking rough and with a bad matchup, but look, might shock some of y'all if you've been keeping up with us all season with what I say about Michael Thomas this week. So I'll just say go with MT. And then Kevin is 3-0 in 2 leagues, 2-1 in another. Very nice.
Nice.
If Waddle is out, I mean, we get the feeling Waddle's playing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like he was close last week. He should play, but if by some chance he's not, it has to be James Conner. We cannot. This is the same thing, almost with Terry McLaurin, but instead of it not being McLaurin's fault, it actually is Joshua Kelly's fault. It was one thing after he failed against the Titans to be like, well, it's the Titans. They're like a top 3 run defense. One of the best run defense. What do you expect? When he failed like that against the Vikings, and not just failed, I mean, absolutely horrible. You just can't put him in. I don't care who. If they were playing the Texans this week, I would not start Joshua Kelly. I just wouldn't do it. It's just, you're just asking for pain if you're starting Joshua Kelly. So it's got to be Conner.
And the way Connor's playing, there's really no reason not to play him. He's been great, even against Dallas. He's been really good. I know he has a tough matchup also. Well, he had it last week and it didn't matter. So let's see, Moises with a super sticker.
What's
Thank
up?
you. 10 team. 2 running backs, a flex, and a tight end. We got James Cook, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyron, Mostert. We got some good options there. And then Nico. And then 1 tight end, Musgrave or Waller.
Oh, man. Well, I think you have to play Mostert. You got to ride it. If this is the week where it falls off and he doesn't score and the Bills' run defense, which, by the way, is very good, just shuts them down, okay, then next week you can start asking the question, do I start him or not? But for right now, like, you just can't. You can't run the risk of leaving all those points on your bench. So you got to roll Mostert out, even in a tough matchup. The other 3 are close for me for your RB2. I mean, look, Kyron looks terrible, but he's getting so many. He just does. I mean, the guy hasn't run for better than 3.8 yards per carry in any game this year. He's 190 pounds and he's slow, but he's getting a bunch of targets. Now, granted, he's not catching any of them, but man, and then Gibbs finally gets a start, and I'm like, yeah, okay, like. He might only get like 10 to 12 carries, but now he's going to catch like 7 passes. No, he gets 17 carries and only 1 catch. Like, what? James Cook might be my choice here. James Cook might be my RB2 choice. I actually I get it. He's not going to score any touchdowns, but he looks great. He's going to get you tons of yards. He's going to catch passes. I think I'm going Mostert and Cook at running back.
That's exactly where I'm going. Like I said, Gibbs didn't break out really last week. I don't think he's got a great matchup. Nothing better this week with the Packers. It's pretty good defense overall. Yeah, Kyron, I'm not crazy about Kyron. I really think this is still a time to trade, sell high on him. It was just funny because we were kind of not watching the game, but like watching the box score, I guess, or watching the stat line last night. You're like, how does Kyron Williams have like 6 targets and no catches or 1 catch or whatever it was? It's like
he has 17 targets and 8 catches. That is barely a 50% catch rate as a running back.
The running back. Yeah.
I mean, and they can't all be Stafford's fault, right? Like, you can't tell me like all of them are uncatchable.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I like Cook this week and Mostert. And then at the flex, then who are you flexing? Is it Nico?
Well, this is where I might go Gibbs because I do like Gibbs' matchup. The Packers not a good run defense. And do we really expect? I mean, of course, it's going to come down to Montgomery, but do we really expect on the short week Monty to be ready? I mean, maybe.
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. So I feel like if he gets 17 carries again this week against the Packers, he'll do some damage. I like Nico too, but I am a little bit worried that Nico has been out-targeted 2 weeks in a row by Dell, and actually Dell and Woods have run more routes than Nico. That's what really kind of worries me for Nico a little bit. So, man, but it is
getting tanked.
I might go the run. I might go Nico, James Cook, and Gibbs. It's my team. But Mostert, James Cook, and Gibbs. But I can totally understand if you want to play Nico over Gibbs.
Yeah, honestly, I think matchup-wise, I think Kyron Williams has a better matchup this week. But if it's full PPR, I'm probably just going to go Nico. But it's pretty close between those 3. And then Musgrave or Waller, well,
I like Musgrave, but this is Waller week. If Waller doesn't come through this week against the Seahawks, we're in full-fledged Darren Waller panic mode. I mean, I know we're already kind of in, well, the people who drafted Darren Waller are in kind of panic mode, but if he doesn't come through against this defense this week, it's full-fledged panic mode. I got to go Waller.
Yeah, I think Musgrave's the top streaming tight end this week, or pickup if it's possible. But this week, I'm going to say you have to play Waller this week. All right, Let's get to Ramu. Thank you, Ramu. Again, he's number 6 in waiver priority. He's got Wilson stash, needs a running back. A shame, yeah, you're not going to get him if you're number 6 in waiver priority. Rashawn Charbonnet. Who would you prefer, Rashawn or Charbonnet? I mean, if he needs a running back like right now to play, it's probably got to be Rashawn, isn't it?
I mean, does it? Did Charbonnet outscore him last week?
Did he?
He might have. He had like 9 carries for 46 yards and caught a couple passes, I think. He played almost half the snaps last week. I mean, I really feel like we're going to see pretty soon like a 1A, 1B, and we almost did kind of see it this week. I mean, look, Kenneth Walker still getting the goal line work, of course. But Charbonnet's run almost as many routes as Kenneth Walker this year, even though he's played way less snaps than Kenneth Walker this year. He played almost half the snaps last week. He had 9 carries, averaging over 5 yards a carry this year. We know he's a good running back. It's just like, even if you told me right now, Khalil Herbert is out this week and Donta Foreman quit and they're not even going to sign another running back. Rashawn Johnson is going to play the Kyron Williams role. He's not going to come off the field. How good am I feeling about Rashawn Johnson on the Bears against the Chiefs?
Well, the only reason I was going to say is maybe this week, because then they're getting the Broncos and that run defense. Now, of course, he's not, running a 4.240
They go against the Broncos. Okay, that's right. I don't know why.
He's not running a 4.240 like Shane and Mostert.
Yeah.
But I think he could do something. I don't know. It's close. I think long-term Charbonnet is probably the play here now. If you need to start somebody this week, I would probably lean Rashawn. And then at tight end, we say you got to play Waller one more week, right?
Yeah, got to be Waller.
All right, now here's the real question here is with Alex B, Collins or Dell? Which Texans?
See, this is why this is the perfect example, and why I was trying to be somewhat grounded with Nico Collins, even though I was super excited. This is the perfect example why you don't want to get super excited about guys. It's one thing if we're all super excited about Tyreek Hill. But we know Tyreek Hill's an elite player. It's like, okay, we know this. But when you got guys like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, like whether rookies or younger players who haven't done anything yet, you got to be a little bit grounded, because remember weeks 1 and 2, it would have been like, you're crazy. It's totally Nico Collins. Come on. He's been awesome. He's been incredible. Now it's Tank Dell. You want to stay grounded here. So I don't know. This is a very tough question. I mean, if you'd asked me after week 2, I would have said Nico Collins, but the last 2 weeks, Tank Dell has gotten more targets and ran more routes, so maybe it's Tank Dell. But look, if this week Nico Collins goes back out there and runs more routes and gets more targets, then it's back to Nico. I don't know. I don't know. It's very close.
If you take the what have you done for me lately approach, which a lot of people do, it's obviously Tank Dell. Before the season, I was Team Nico on this, so I'm going to say I'm just going to stick with that, not because I am stubborn, but not just because of that. But, I just think he's made to be a number 1 receiver. They're both good. If you had to pick one, bye week fill-in, I don't really know offhand. When is the Texans bye week? And who are you filling in?
I don't even know when the Texans bye week is. I would not worry about a bye week fill-in.
Yeah. I don't know who you have a receiver that you're worried about covering for buys. You don't need – I wouldn't look at it that way. I would just say, who do you think has more upside? Right now, no. I just say Nico, but it's close. All right.
Yeah, I've seen people add somebody, add a quarterback for a bye week fill-in from 4 weeks from now or something, right? Yeah, and then they get hurt. It's like, well, what happened to your bye week fill-in? They got hurt, or they got benched or whatever, right? They got benched. It's like, yeah, well, there goes your bye week fill-in that you've been stashing for 4 weeks.
Exactly. All right. Let's see. You got some. Nathan dropped 204 points. Very nice. 3-0. Nice. Also, Milo Lack.
Nice.
In both leagues, that's what we want to see. We know y'all are with us almost every stream. Marcus, trade ideas for Zay Flowers, Christian Watson, Kyron, and Ford.
Well, I did here. Christian Watson said today he expects to play this week, so that's good. It's Tuesday and he already is saying that. That makes me feel good. I don't know what you're gonna get for Christian Watson right now. He hasn't played he hasn't played this season. People are kind of fed up with him. I don't know what you're gonna get if you trade away Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Kyron's sell high window took a big hit yesterday, but he still has value because he's a running back. He's playing every snap. But, not everybody in your league may know he's playing every snap. Like a lot of people just look at like how many points did they score. Oh, he only got 8 points. He's not worth anything, right? That's how a lot of people think. So last week you could have gotten a king's ransom for Kyron. I think Zay has some decent value. Like if you need an RB2, I think you could get like a guy, maybe James Conner, somebody like that, maybe. Although he's had a couple nice games, people might be like not willing to give him up. Ford might have the most value right now of all these guys, actually, because he had a big game. People were already excited about him. He had a good fantasy game. So if you don't need Ford, if you're like, hey, I'm good at running back, and you need wide receiver, you might be able to get a decent wide receiver too for Ford right now.
I should be able to. Out of this group, if you have all of these guys, which is pretty nice, I'm selling Kyron if I can. And I think people, we've seen some insane trade. People like, oh, should I trade Jalen Waddle to get Kyron Williams? Like, no, like don't. But people are doing this. People are like, Kyron Williams is it. Like he's the next Marshall Faulk. He's not, but still, he's a running back who's scoring touchdowns. So I'm holding Watson. I'm trading Kyron if I can. Ford if you don't need him. Yeah, I think this is the most. I like Ford the rest of the season, but he's probably the one with the most value. And I wouldn't want to trade away Flowers, but Royland became. I thought he already was a member, but now he's officially a member.
All right,
already in the Discord.
Welcome. Now you got Sir Royland.
Sir Royland. Well, he's okay. Bool man, snagging a Shane. Do I start him? Okay, so I know you don't need to get carried away, but you also would hate to have him on your bench, wouldn't you?
Yes, and we did just like minutes ago. I literally published the running back start sit video that was supposed to go out a couple hours ago, but due to technical difficulties that were out of our control, namely internet and technology, it just now got published. So if you want to go watch it, we obviously talk about Shane and everybody else. But yeah, like you can't not start him this week. Look, I think I say something in the video like I'm fully ready, to be completely disappointed this week, but at the same time, I can't not start him. Like you can't leave that potential big game. Now it's on the road against Buffalo. So like there's certainly huge letdown potential this week, but you got to find out. You got to put him in your lineup and find out. You just have to. You have to.
Yeah, and the answer is always the same. It depends. You're starting him over who, right? I think you could have a legitimate debate about, look, Josh Jacobs has been bad 3 weeks in a row. Do I keep running him out there, or do I go for a guy like a Shane? I would still go with Jacobs because he's got a good matchup and he's getting more touches, but I can see how that's a discussion. There's certain guys you just don't want to sit for a guy like a Shane. And then there's certain guys that you don't really have to think twice about, like a Josh Kelly or I don't know, like a Alexander Madison. So it depends, but I think you can start him right away. Nico Santoso, listen to start Sun God over Addison. Okay, that turned out good. And so This week, T-Law or Love?
I gotta roll with T-Law again. It's a good matchup against the Falcons. It's not a great matchup for Love this week. It's not horrible. But it's not great. Detroit has a pretty good defense. I still got to go give T-Law one more shot. At least one more shot. But I think this week the matchup, I'm going T-Law. I'm going T-Law over.
Not super impressed, of course, by T-Law's performances, but also just some of the things I saw in the way he's playing. It makes me a little nervous. Jags are used to playing in London. Sometimes they put up some big games there. To me, more so, it's just Love. Not a great matchup for him. Not a good spot. I'm going to go T-Law this week and get what you get. George Lopez, Lamb and Ford for Bijan and MT.
I think I got to go the Bijan side. Well, I mean, I don't know. Man, this is actually tough. It's hard not to just take Bijan because it's like having that type of running back is just such an advantage. But if Ford is like an every week RB2 and Michael Thomas is like not much, then does it end up being worth it? I don't know. Like,
I think this is pretty close.
yeah, it is. It really is.
This is a tough one because I mean, what's more important to your team right now, the stud running back or the stud receiver? If you're doing this and you're trading way forward, I'm wondering if he is your RB2 and you're just trying to upgrade there. You must have good receivers if you're trading away CeeDee Lamb. I just don't. If you're having to start Michael Thomas every week to replace Lamb, I wouldn't do it. But if you don't need Lamb, I guess if that's the best way to say it, then I guess you could do this.
Yeah, it's very close. Very close.
All right. Here's an easy one from Tubugisimak. Should I drop Dalvin Cook? Yes, you can drop.
Yes, you can definitely drop Dalvin Cook. Yes.
Trenton Jesse. What's up, Jesse? Made a few trades, want feedback, traded Ford for Taylor. Okay.
Jonathan
Ford
Taylor?
JT.
I would have preferred JT. I just saw a quote today from head coach Shane Steichen saying Jonathan Taylor will be removed from the PUP list after this week.
So if
he didn't say he's gonna start for us in week 5, but yeah, he's off the PUP list after this week. I would have definitely preferred JT.
Yeah, so if he's saying if he traded for JT, then that would have been a good move.
Right. Yes, and that's if you got JT, then yeah, good move. Good move.
Freiermuth and Gabe Davis for Watson's, or just for Watson? Is that it? Okay, Freiermuth and Gabe for Watson.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm assuming maybe you grabbed Laporta in week 2 or something, or maybe you're just going to stream tight end like Musgrave. Like, I like Freiermuth, but I don't think you're going to look back at the end of the year and be like, oh, why did I give up Freiermuth? Like, and I would prefer Watson over Gabe. So, yeah, I like that trade.
Yeah, I think that's a win for you, especially Watson now is actually playing. And then Cousins was his backup. So he traded Cousins, Brees, and Christian Kirk for T. Higgins, Monty, and JSN. That's a win.
Yeah, definitely a win. I mean, a quarterback, your backup quarterback, a running back still coming back from ACL. Yeah, definitely a win. All 3 wins. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, you upgraded at receiver, you upgraded at running back, and then you traded your backup quarterback for a rookie receiver who could break out late in the season. So I think you made 3 good moves. So that's it. That's the way we roll. Royland had to become a member because oh, wait a minute. Now that I think about it, maybe the membership thing isn't so good. No, that's okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Royland. And
there you go.
You've been knighted by Sir Boomer. All right. Another Freiermuth question. Would you drop Freiermuth or Hunter Henry to pick up Musgrave?
No, I'm just rolling with Freiermuth. I still feel better about Freiermuth than Musgrave. Like, Freiermuth to me is a guy, you got him, you just set and forget. And some weeks you're going to be like, he didn't do very well. And some weeks, like in week 3, you're going to be like, all right, that was nice. It's probably what you're going to get with Hunter Henry and Luke Musgrave too. So I'm just rolling with Freiermuth.
I mean, I feel like all 3 of these guys are fairly interchangeable. If you already have 2 of them and Musgrave's floating on waivers, you could just stream at tight end. You don't have to roster 2 of them. I think this coming week, I might start Musgrave. I like Musgrave this week. Henry is going to be like fine every week. You know what I mean? I don't feel like any one of these guys has significantly higher ceiling. So I might just pick and choose each week to say which guy you want to start. But you don't have to drop Freiermuth. And then he has both Sutton and Judy. Who would you trade? And what is the value really for that trade?
Well, I mean, I don't have a good – I'll be honest, I don't have a good pulse on these guys because I don't really have them in any leagues. I just wasn't really drafting Judy because I was like, it doesn't make sense that he's going 60 picks ahead of Sutton. And I just never really ended up with Sutton. It wasn't like I was completely out on him. I thought he was a fine value for where he's going, but I just never really ended up with him. I feel like Judy might still have more trade value. Like people see the name Jerry Jeudy and go, ooh,
I
Jerry
know, it's just
Jeudy.
weird. Like, why did he even have so much? Why would people taking him in like the 5th round? I don't get that. But
He was going like in the 4th round, and Cortland Sutton was going in like round 9. It was insane. It was like, you're telling me that like Jerry Jeudy is like just or like is like a clear alpha and Sutton's trash? Like these guys are much closer than people think. So I feel like Jeudy probably has more trade value right now because you offer somebody Jeudy, they're like, ooh, okay, he's got potential. You offer somebody Sutton, they're like, he's garbage. I don't want him. Even though he's been better than Jeudy and getting more targets and getting more end zone targets. So probably Judy's the one that has more trade value right now.
I mean, I would trade Jeudy just because Sutton's been better, and I think Sutton will be better. I think just and Jeudy is the one I wouldn't want on my team, I guess, basically. So I would rather trade Jeudy since for some reason he does still have value. Even being hurt and not doing anything really this season. So I would trade Jeudy just for another wide receiver 3 type. Frosif, what is up? Would you offer Mixon and Addison for a Cup?
I mean, I would offer it.
Kyron and Addison. I would do Kyron and Addison.
Either one. I mean, either one, honestly. If whatever it took. If Mixon, if the guy's like, I don't want Mixon, then I'm what about Kyron? I'd offer, because if you can get Cup for either of these trades, it's a big win. Big win.
Yeah, do it. Andrew, what do you do with Fields? There's the $1 million question.
Well, I mean, I know it's like the Broncos. So you're like, well, what if he runs wild all over this Broncos defense like the Dolphins just did? But then also it's Justin Fields, it's the Bears. What if he doesn't? So look, I'm not dropping him, but I would start Stroud over him this week. Don't drop Fields. Like, don't drop Fields to pick up Stroud. If you bench him, start Stroud. If Fields, look, if he runs wild this week, okay, next week put him back in your lineup. But Stroud should be good enough this week. Like, Stroud shouldn't kill you this week. So I would go Stroud over him this week.
Yeah, I'm going to agree and say, I don't, even if Fields is bad again this week, even they say, oh, we might have to look at all our options or something vague, like, I'm not going to drop him because things change a lot quicker than people realize. You never know. Halfway through the season, the coordinator gets canned, right? And they do something totally different. And then all of a sudden it clicks, or Fields actually gets played to his strengths. I wouldn't drop somebody like Fields, but no. I mean, look, if you don't want to risk, if you can't stomach starting him again, I totally get that. In fact, I said that last week. I was like, look, yeah, Jared Goff, just go with Jared Goff. If you have CJ Stroud, I'm fine going CJ Stroud. So, but don't drop him. This one, I mean, look, the Wizard of Odds, Palmer or Shane? It has to be a Shane.
It's got to be a Shane. Got to be
a Shane. I like Palmer a lot. He was my number 2 mention on the waiver wire video, but it's got to be a Shane. He's a running back.
Yeah.
And then Carl, Josh Downs. Yep, a lot of targets. He's interesting, but the ceiling isn't that high.
That's the thing. That's why you can't like yes, targets are very important. But like in the case of Josh Downs here, it's like, yeah, he's got 24 targets, but his ADOT is like 1 yard or 2 yards. It's ridiculous. Like, he needs these targets just to have any value at all. So, yeah. I think Downs is worth a hold in deeper leagues, but I'm not ready to start him yet. His role needs to change a bit. As far as keep a Shane or use him as trade bait to replace Mike Williams, I mean, look, again, I'm going to say the same thing I always say. If you can actually sell high on him, like if you could trade him right now and get, well, A.J. Brown had a nice game. Maybe you could get CeeDee Lamb.
In a heartbeat. I was going to say like T. Higgins, because T. Higgins did nothing, basically.
Yeah, T. Higgins. Jalen Waddle. I'll bet you could trade him for Jalen Waddle. I'll bet there's people out there that say, you're crazy trading the Shane for Jalen Waddle. What are you thinking? And they're talking about the fact that you gave up a Shane, not that you got Jalen Waddle.
Right.
Yeah, if you could trade him for somebody like that, absolutely do it.
And it's funny because some people will say, like, that's come on, you're making it up. Like that, nobody would do that. Oh yes, they will, and they have. And you just go out there. There are real sites where you can track trades that people make, and you would slap yourself in the face when you see that. You're like, how could somebody do that? People do this all the time. Like maybe you don't play in a league like that. We don't play in leagues like this. Of course, we play in leagues where Devon Shane was already owned in every single league. Jerome Ford was drafted in every league. Okay, that's the leagues we play in. But just check, right? You never know. All right. But anyways, yeah, if you can sell a Shane to get like a top 20 receiver, oh yeah, you can do it. What about Verdun? Looking for thoughts on 2 trade options. First, I would receive Jacobs and Fields, 2 buy low candidates for sure, but give Tua and Gibbs. I don't know if I would do that.
Tua and Gibbs. I mean,
it depends if you really expect, like if you think you're getting last year's version of Josh Jacobs, then that would be a win. But I don't know. You might be taking on too much risk here.
Yeah, I don't know. I still believe in Josh Jacobs. Look, if he doesn't come through this week, then I'm out on Josh Jacobs. But if he doesn't come, I mean, look, Alexander Madison just had 97 yards against the Chargers. I'm expecting a big Josh Jacobs game this week, especially if Jimmy G doesn't play. They're not going to throw the ball 45 times with Aiden O'Connor or Brandon Hoyer or whoever I don't even know who their backup QB is, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's Hoyer.
Yeah, it's Hoyer or Aiden O'Connell. They're not going to throw the ball 40 times with those guys. I mean, it's Josh McDaniels, so who knows? Maybe they will. Maybe Josh McDaniels doesn't know you can run the ball because he doesn't know that he doesn't know that being down 8 is 1 possession.
We needed 5 downs.
Like yeah, we needed 5. We needed 5 possessions to score 8 points. Okay. This is actually close. I mean, because I don't mind the QB downgrade because I'm like, whatever. If Fields is bad, I'll just stream QB. I don't care. Like, it's not a big deal to me. It's not a big deal to me. If Jacobs gets close to last year, he's going to be significantly better than Gibbs. I don't know. It's close. I might take the Jacobs side just because I still believe in Jacobs.
Yeah, I know I'm more concerned about Jacobs than you are. I think to me, like, okay, I don't mind, and I will say he is a buy low now. I just don't know if I want to buy low on 2 disappointing players at once. I don't want my whole team hinging on like a comeback second half kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because then you're like, you buy low, and then you wind up with half a team of busts. So I might buy low on 1 guy, but I don't know about 2. So anyways.
Fair. That's fair.
And then 2, I received Calvin Ridley, give up Stroud, Tank, and Ford.
I got to think this is still a win. I mean, unless we think like Tank Dell is going to be better than Calvin Ridley and Jerome Ford is going to be like, an every week RB1. I think this is probably still a win. I'm going to assume you don't need Stroud. I'm going to assume you have a different quarterback. I mean, maybe this is the same team where you have Tua and Gibbs, so Tua would be your quarterback. You have Tua and Fields, so you don't really need Stroud. So it's basically Dell and Ford. I'm still going with Ridley here. I still believe in Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to assume Stroud must be your backup anyways, because did anybody actually draft Stroud to be their starter? No. And there's not any like quarterbacks who are out for the season that you would have had to replace him with. So, and you picked up Tank off of waivers. These are 3 guys you picked up off of waivers, right?
Yeah,
None of
exactly.
These guys were really drafted. So you're basically turning waiver wire pickups into a number 1 receiver. Yeah, you do this because you probably weren't starting those guys anyways. So yeah, I would do the Ridley one. Just get it done is the name of our next viewer. Traded Love, Kyron, and Garrett Wilson for Hurts, Stevenson, and Nico.
Yeah, this has got to be a win. I mean, definitely got to have Hurts over Love. I mean, okay, maybe you could talk me into Kyron over Stevenson, but look, I still have my doubts about Kyron long term. I mean, the guy's not even 200 pounds. He's averaging less than 4 yards per carry. He's catching only half his passes. Like, I'm not completely sold that Kyron Williams is the guy the whole season here in LA. And then look, Garrett, okay, now they're talking about maybe bringing in Trevor Siemian. Like, is that going to save Garrett Wilson? Like, probably not. So I think this is a big win for you. Big win for you.
Yeah, I think you knocked it out of the park this one. In fact, Johnny Donuts agrees. Highway
Right.
robbery there. Yeah, I think so. Nathan reminding us again, he dropped 204 this last week and is 3-0. I can see why. You got Tua.
Yeah.
He had AJ Brown.
Keenan.
Keenan, yeah, that helped a little bit. Okay, Olave, you have a is this a rest of season team? I would not do anything with this team.
I mean, the only thing I'd be looking to do is move Kyron, because again, I have my doubts. Like,
yeah,
not only is he playing, not only is he undersized and under speed, he's also playing every snap and he's playing punt return. Like, I really have my doubts that at a minimum that his efficiency, which is already really bad, doesn't just fall off the cliff, like just completely fall off the cliff to the point where it's like they can't give him the ball anymore. He's just a liability for the team. I mean, this is not the type of running back you run into the ground.
yeah, he might just break at one point.
Yeah, so I would definitely be looking to move Kyron right now.
Like, that is his MO. This is exactly what happened to Todd Gurley. He was run into the ground until his knees disintegrated.
Yeah, but Todd Gurley was also what, 218 pounds, 220 pounds, not 195 or whatever. Kyron Williams
took him a couple of seasons. I don't think it'll take Kyron a whole season. So yeah, I do agree with that. If you can trade, as long as you're getting a good enough running back in exchange. Yeah, this is also why I mentioned, stash guys where you think he's like hasn't even played, he's not even on the radar. But like a guy like Zach Evans, who's there for the Rams, might go from fourth string running back to starter by season's end, and you'll be like, how did that happen? Well, let's see. Cam Akers was traded. Kyron Williams will fall apart, and then Ronnie Rivers will like, now let's give this guy a shot. This rookie that we drafted, who's faster than you. I'm just saying that's the kind of stash you can do, or at least monitor in a deep league. You're like, I'm not saying go pick him up right now, but just keep it in mind. SB, I have Lamar Jackson as my main QB, but I have Tua. Should I trade Tua and Judy? Yes.
Yeah, but who are you getting? Oh, and Tank Dell for a top wide receiver. I mean, yeah, if you can trade all those guys for a top wide receiver, absolutely. I don't know if you can, but if you can, absolutely.
The period confused me. Okay, so he's saying to trade Tua and Judy and Dell, like package those three to get a stud receiver.
Yeah, I mean, look, it can be done. I'll tell you right now, but I know not everybody like thinks like this. But if I get a trade and the trade offer I get is 3 players for one of mine, like my first reaction is instantly just no. Without even looking at it, it's no, because that usually means, hey, here's a bunch of like poop for your, diamond. But it's a lot of poop. So it makes up for it, right? Like, no, it really doesn't. It really doesn't. So, I mean, you could try, but I don't know if it'll work. Maybe you can get Higgins right now because he's coming off 2 bad games, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yes. If you could trade your backup quarterback and a guy like Judy, who, again, I'm not into, and a guy you just picked off of waivers to get a stud receiver, yes, do it. Throw out offers and see who bites. Almost ace. Sanders, Dell, and Terry for Higgins and Laporta. He has Kyron Stevenson, Jefferson, Kupp, and Njoku. Okay, that's why you want a tight end.
Yeah, I think you have to do this again. I mean,
I think so.
Terry, oh man, with Sam Howell looking dicey. I mean, I think Sanders is okay. I think he'll be all right, but he'll just be all right. Tank Dell, I mean, I'm not going to get caught up in the Tank Dell hype that this guy's a wide receiver 1 rest of the season. You're getting Higgins. Laporta looks like a set and forget tight end. I think you got to do this.
Yeah, I think you can do this. You're not going to probably miss any of those guys. Getting Higgins and you're getting a better tight end. Yeah, go for it. Rough times. 10-team PPR need 2 running backs. Have Eckler, probably not playing. Have Kamara. Have Hall. You have Monty and you have Kelly. I mean, we have to play.
Man, I mean, what are you going to do if Monty and Eckler don't play? I guess you're playing Hall and Kamara if Monty and Eckler don't play, because I'm not playing Kelly. There's no way.
He's saying he won't get a Shane, dropping Kelly. Okay, he's got waiver orders set to try to get some of those guys: Rashawn, Warren, CH, Zeke, Breida. I mean, are you going to start any of those guys? Maybe Breida, just start him because he might score a touchdown. Honestly, that might be my choice.
Yeah, I mean, if it is it PPR, maybe Warren. I mean, it's Houston. He catches passes. Like
Yeah,
It is Houston. But yeah, I mean, you can't start Kelly. Monty and Eckler might not play. Yeah, that is rough times right there. Hopefully, Monty and Eckler are back soon.
yeah. I guess in this case, you do have to start Kamara, but or Dell Sutton Thielen. Yeah, Dell would be the guy that you'd want to pick up.
Yeah,
Any tight ends? What you're asking about picking up off of waivers? I like Musgrave this week.
yep.
That's
Probably it,
10-team
really.
league,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, I don't know. I mean, if somehow Laporta is still out there, like nobody picked him up, I mean, he's going to get picked up this week for sure, but you can pick him up.
Yeah, I would think you'd have some good options at tight end if you're in a 10-team league. As far as who's available, hard to say. Nobody else really kind of sticks out to me. I'm trying to look who might be available. No, we'll just go with him. All right, let's go to Justin Credible. Feedback. Got Allen, Pollard, Swift, Diggs, Ridley, Komet. Okay, I got some immediate feedback for you, but let's get to the
Yeah.
Robinson and Ford. Superflex is Jordan Love, and then the bench has Algier, Miller, JSN, Monty, and Christian Watson. 3-0. Very nice.
3-0 with Komet. Well done. Well, I mean, look, you got Pollard and Swift, you got Diggs. I mean, Ridley hasn't been great the last 2 weeks, but you got Josh Allen, Jordan Love. I mean, I understand you're flexing Ford and Brian Robinson. I understand why you're 3-0, but I mean, look, you got Christian Watson coming back now. You'll hopefully have Monty coming back soon. But you got to get rid of. There's got to be I would hope, a better tight end than Komet.
Yeah, like anybody, like whoever's out there, honestly, anybody. Well, let me look. Like who could be? Zach Ertz is not great this week, but I'd rather have him rest of the season than Komet. Hunter Henry maybe still out there, especially for the previous one, 10-team league. Maybe he hasn't been picked up yet. I wish I could say Juwan Johnson, but I can't yet. So, yeah, maybe some of those guys. Red and gold, looking to upgrade a receiver, have Diggs, Debo, Pickens, Dobbs. I mean, I don't think you really need to upgrade.
I mean, yeah, I don't really think you need to. I mean, maybe this is a good time to try to trade Dobbs, but I don't feel like Dobbs, even though Dobbs has had some nice games, I don't feel like most people look at him as like, oh, I need to go try to get Dobbs. Like, I don't think he has a lot of trade value is what I'm saying, even though he has had some nice games. But I mean, Diggs and Debo, that's great. You got Pickens. He's got some upside. I mean, I know this won't be a popular opinion, but I would be trying to sell high on Pickens because right now he's getting targets like across the middle of the field. But do we believe that continues when Deontay Johnson is back? I don't. I believe he goes back to his just run deep roll, and every now and then Pickett will chuck it, and maybe we'll get lucky here type of roll. So maybe you could try to trade high on Pickens, but I don't think you need to. I like your wide receivers.
Yeah, you have a legit number one receiver. Yep. Debo is legit number 2. Pickens, high upside number 3. Dobbs is basically now like a wide receiver 3 type. Even when Watson comes back, it's not like Dobbs is going to disappear. He's probably still going to lead the wide receiver room in snaps and routes run. So I think I honestly don't have too many suggestions. I don't think I want to trade away these guys right now, unless look, if you can trade Dobbs coming off of his touchdown and get somebody who maybe has higher value, but I don't have any like specific names in mind. I like your receiver. All right, so let's do a couple of super quick of the regular chats. So if you have put a super chat, don't worry, we're getting there. Stay with us, we're catching up. But let's do some of these fast. Pac-Man, would you trade Waddle for Swift straight up?
I mean, again, I don't want to overreact.
I know. I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is no, I don't want to trade Waddle for a running back. But if you're hard up at running back, maybe. I mean, Swift could be
The
that
thing about
guy.
Swift, like you look at Swift, and it's not like, well, he's like you look at like a guy like Kenneth Walker, like, well, he's got 4 touchdowns, or Kyron Williams, he's got 4 touchdowns. It's like, what happens
Right.
when he doesn't score? Well, we saw what happens to Kyron Williams when he doesn't score last night, and we saw what happens to Kenneth Walker when he doesn't score in week 1. Swift has 1 touchdown. Like it's like Swift is lighting it up without even touchdown, not even catching a ton of passes. He's running behind this insane offensive line. Did you see? I saw somebody snapshot of a picture, and it's on Twitter. It was like, how many yards would you get? And it's DeAndre Swift. He's literally like,
Oh yeah.
the hole is like, I'm pretty sure I would have picked up like at least a yard or 2, like for sure. And that's not saying much. Like that's how big the hole was. Like this is a guy who's just going to be good because of the situation he's in, not because he's scoring a ton of touchdowns or whatever. So, but man, I mean, I still believe Waddle's like a top 10 wide receiver. Like he's in this incredible offense. I know it. He got overshadowed by Hill in week 1 and got hurt in week 2. So it's kind of like people are like, but man, if Swift really is that guy, that's harder to replace than Waddle. So I think this is good. Like really comes down to what you need. If you're like, hey, I'm good at wide receiver, like I didn't even miss Waddle last week because I just, instead of Waddle, I just put like, whatever. I just threw some other really good wide receiver. I just threw Chris Olave in or something, like, because if you went 0 RB, you need Swift, then I think it's okay. But I think in a vacuum, I prefer Waddle still.
Yeah, I'm giving the edge to Waddle, but I know it's tempting. So, what about Apex Kyron Williams for Mark Andrews?
I mean, I know I've just been talking down on Kyron Williams, but he is a running back getting all the snaps. Mark Andrews
has not been like putting up huge numbers in this offense.
Well, I mean, he didn't play week 1. He had a nice week 2. He had a down week 3. I think it's a little too soon to like, make any real judgments. I still think Mark Andrews will be great. But the thing is, he's still a tight end. And this is what I always say, like outside of Travis Kelce, and maybe unless he has a year like he had a couple years ago, like even TJ Hawkinson last year. Was TJ Hawkinson worth a top 10 running back? No. He was great relative to tight ends, but relative to like a top 10 running back, no. I'm not saying Kyron's going to finish as a top 10 running back. Maybe he will, but man, I don't know. I think this might be one of the few times I keep Kyron, and I may regret it. I may regret it down the road.
Well, I mean, we could be wrong, of course. It wouldn't be the first time. I would take the advantage of Mark Andrews. If you're offering Kyron Williams, probably you don't need him as your every week RB2. So I would take Andrews. But let's get to Abhimanyu Singh. Welcome back. Drop Elijah Moore to pick up Tank Dell, Josh Palmer, or Quentin Johnson.
I don't think oh man. Elijah Moore kind of in that similar situation where he's getting the targets, but they're such low ADOT targets that it's hard.
It's not getting
the
yardage.
Big games. But again, I want to stay grounded here. I don't want to like overreact. But also you don't want to like, sometimes you can stay too grounded, right? And you're like, oh, I'm not buying into Tank Dell after 2 big games. And then like 6 weeks later, you're like, why didn't I buy into Tank Dell after 2 big games? You're like, whoops, maybe I should have bought into Tank Dell. So I don't know. I might drop him for Tank, but that's probably it. I'll drop him for Tank, but not the other guys.
Yeah, I think you can because, like I said with last week, the matchup was perfect. Couldn't be better for a wide receiver. He still didn't do much. I mean, I'm not completely out. I don't think you have to drop more, but if you got a guy with upside like Tank or Palmer, yeah, I wouldn't do it for Quentin Johnson. Probably for Tank, though. Yeah. Jedi Koth offered Jacobs for Aaron Jones. Who would you prefer? I'm guessing Jacobs.
I'm definitely preferring Jacobs. I'm not giving up on him yet. He's still getting the usage. It's going to happen, hopefully. I'm going Jacobs.
Yeah, and if you were offered Jacobs, like you're getting Jacobs, then hit accept.
Yes.
If that's what the deal is there. Alexander's channel, percent of fab to spend on Laporta. That's a good question.
That's a good question. I mean, look, if you're hurting at tight end, like if you've been rolling out in Njoku or Pitts or whatever, like I'm not going to say like drop a significant portion of your fab for a rookie tight end after 3 weeks, but I'd probably be willing to do like 10%, because I mean you're potentially looking at a guy you're starting as your tight end from now till the end of the season. So 10 to 15% is probably what I'd say.
Yeah, if you need a tight end, look, I know we're a little slow to come around on rookie tight ends because they typically don't have huge seasons, but he's in the perfect situation because after Sun God, it's Josh Reynolds and not that much. And he obviously is a stud. So I think you can go up to 20% if you really are good everywhere else. And then here's another Laporta question. Alex B, would you start Laporta over Goddard? We still list Goddard as a must start, but I don't know. I don't think that is crazy because Goddard hasn't really had a big game yet either.
Yeah, this might be the last week we list Dallas Goedert as a must start, honestly, if he doesn't do anything. But
yeah,
I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, he's look until Jameson Williams comes back, and look, even when Jameson Williams comes back, I'm not really a fan of Jameson Williams. I don't know that he's all of a sudden going to come in and dominate. So yeah, I think you could do this. All right, now I definitely do this. Talk about Josh Jacobs and a buy low. Trade Tank Dell to get Josh Jacobs.
Yes. I mean, what is this? Is this real? Like, is this real? Is this a real trade? Yeah.
Apparently.
I mean, come on. You got it. Yeah. Yes. I don't know how to say this.
Yes. Do that. Raul Ramesh, one of our members too. Thoughts on trading Herbert and Zay, probably Flowers. And then
I don't even know what Herb this is. Justin Herbert, Khalil Herbert.
Well, he's saying I have Tua, so I'm guessing Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
Herbert
you have
and
to
Zay
do this.
for
You have to. This is a potentially league-winning trade, like game-changing trade. I'll never forget one year I played with my buddy in a fantasy league. It was a 2 QB league. We had Patrick Mahomes, Tua, and like Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins. And he's like, hey, somebody's willing to give us Devontae Adams and Najee Harris. This was Najee's rookie year, by the way. It was in like week 13. He's like, I'm not sure. I'm like, and we had to give up Patrick Mahomes in a 2 QB league. Okay, so it's not like in a 1 QB league. I said, we have to take this trade. This is the trade that wins us the championship. Oh, I don't know. It's Patrick Mahomes, though. It's 2 QB. I said, no. I basically forced him to take the trade because it's the type of trade. And we did. We won the championship because of that trade. This is the same kind of trade. Yeah, you don't want to give up Justin Herbert, but you have Tua, so it's okay. And Zay Flowers, I'm assuming Zay Flowers. Okay, fine, I like Zay Flowers, but come on. If Cooper Kupp comes back healthy, this is a trade you look back on and say, that is why I won my championship, because of that trade that I made in week 3. You got to do it.
I think, look, I like Zay Flowers, but there's no way he's having anything close to a Cooper Kupp type season. And even, I mean, Cooper Kupp, whatever he's giving you the rest of this year, yeah, I'll take that. So do this. And then Ranjit Mataru, full PPR, have traded Hawkinson for Devontae Smith because he already has Laporta. That's a win. I think that's a win anyways.
That's a huge win. Huge win.
I mean, you could say, well, now I have to start, Logan Thomas over. That's fine. It's still a win.
Yeah, except you don't. You get to start Laporta.
Huge win. Exactly. That's a huge win. Well done. This is the type of move that you should be making. This is exactly what we're trying to get to. All right. And then we have Ferris Jobber, 10-man PPR, Allen, Pollard, Madison, Hill, Higgins, Hawk, Godwin. Brian Robinson was offered Kupp for Madison and B-Rock.
Oh, you have to, this again, you have, like, these are the type of trade. I know it's like you're sitting there like my buddy was going like, oh my gosh, I can't give up Mahomes. And I know you're not worried about giving up Mahomes, but you're sitting there thinking like, what if Kupp doesn't come back? What if he misses the whole year? You know what? Okay, you traded away Madison and Brian Robinson. What if he doesn't play this whole season? Were Alexander Madison and Brian Robinson carrying you to a championship this year? Probably not. What if Kupp does come back this year and is healthy and is awesome? He's carrying you to a championship. You have to take this. You have to. Have to.
Yeah, no questions asked. I'm taking this. And then I think let's read the second part because he says, got offered Gibbs and Elijah Moore for Godwin and Madison. What trade is better? It's clearly the first
It's the
one.
Cup. Yes. Take
Now,
the
you worried
Cup
about,
trade.
I don't have an RB2 because he's trading Madison and Brian Robinson. This is a 10-man league. You can pick up somebody who is playable, right?
Yes. Yes.
I don't know if Shane is probably available right now. Try to get him off waivers. Look, if you can't, that's fine. In the 10-man league, look, I'm willing to bet that you could get somebody who's startable. Well, not AJ Dillon. Let me see.
I mean, let me look at my home league here. Like what running backs are still out there? I mean, I get that like every league is different, but it's my 10 team. Zach Charbonnet, Rashawn Johnson. Look, Justice Hill missed last week, but it's not like his season is over. He could be the guy this week. Remember, Gus Edwards got a concussion. All they have behind him is Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake. He's Jerick McKinnon. I mean, maybe even Zeke. Zeke got revenge game this week against Dallas. Elijah Mitchell, Latavius Murray, like Tyjae Spears. There's got to be somebody you can just throw in there.
Yeah, there's got to be somebody. So, yeah, take the first trade, get Cup. Joker, Burrow or Watson this week?
I gotta go Burrow. I mean, I know Burrow hasn't been lighting it up, and I know he didn't light it up last night, but he looked good enough, and now he gets Tennessee. You remember why we said start Deshaun Watson last week to everybody who was like, I'm not sure about starting Deshaun Watson? Because it was Tennessee. Start Burrow.
Yeah. The matchup definitely got to be Burrow this week. South Sea 77 got Pacheco, Addison, Flowers, Madison, Field, and Rashawn. Who of those would you drop for one of those top two waiver wire picks? Who's droppable?
Well, I'm dropping Rashawn for a Shane pretty easily.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm dropping him for Tank though, because look, I mean, Tank keeps scoring, but he gets like one carry at the goal line and scores, and that's like all he does. It's not like he's heavily involved. Yeah, he may be as the season goes on, but not yet. I mean, he's more like just a touchdown vulture right now. So I'd rather have Rashawn at the moment than Tank, but I would definitely rather have a Shane than Rashawn. So I'm dropping Rashawn for a Shane.
Yeah. And then this one's interesting. He's saying, or, and then no guarantees you can do this, Addison and Madison for Waddle.
I mean, if you can trade Addison, as much as I like Addison, I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be better than Waddle. Like, if you could trade Addison and Madison, you got to get, and you can get Waddle, you got to do it. You have to.
Yeah. If you can pull that off, then do that. But if not, then drop Rashawn. Trone Force, worried about Burrow. Would you consider trading Chase? No.
Do I have to answer this?
I mean, okay, worried about
Why
Burrow.
Would you trade him now? He just had an awesome game. Like, now you're going to trade him? Oh.
No.
Burrow wasn't even that great. And look how good Chase was. Imagine when Burrow gets healthy and is great again. What Chase is going to do?
Don't trade Chase. No. Don't trade Chase.
Please don't. Please don't.
Thomas, PPR flex 2, Watson, Dell, Kyron, and then he's going CJ over Fields. I think that's fine. You can go CJ over Fields. Okay, but we got to pick 2 between Watson, who is supposedly playing, Dell, who's been going off, or Kyron.
I'm going Watson and Dell. I think Watson's lined up for a big game this week, and the fact that he's already saying he's playing on Tuesday makes me feel good. Like, okay, this isn't going to be like game time decision type of thing. Again, Kyron just needs touchdowns. He just does. He's not running for a lot of yards. He's only catching half his passes. He just needs touchdowns. Maybe he'll get it this week. But in PPR, give me Watson and Dell.
I don't know, because you know what I said. I'm saying about Watson. It's like, let me see what he does. Let me see if he's really healthy, if he doesn't limp off the field after one play. I'm a little skeptical of Watson. I know you feel like he's kind of like a must start if he's playing. I might be cautious here because Tank Dell and Kyron Williams are both solid starts. So if it's me, I would probably stick with Dell and Kyron. But, you know, I don't mind if you want to risk it with Watson. But you can definitely put CJ over Fields. What's up, Rise? the house again. Puka and Higbee for Devontae
No
Adams. That's a
way.
big no.
Yeah, big no. Big no. That's a league losing trade right there.
Yeah, giving up. And look, gotta respect the guy trying to sell high on Puka, right?
Yep. Right,
But
definitely.
no, you can do without that. Relajación total. Do we drop Dotson?
I mean, it depends. Like maybe in like a super shallow league, if there's somebody good to pick up, sure. But like, I'm not dropping them. Like, I'm not dropping them to pick up like Rashawn Johnson or somebody like that. Like, but if you're in like a shallow league and you're gonna pick up Tank Dell or a Shane or something like that, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's not one of those guys with like, like we said with Drake London 2 weeks ago, or like T. Higgins last week. Like, no, don't drop. No,
Yeah,
if you can get somebody with more upside, you can, but I'm not going to drop him if I don't need to just yet. Hold on. He's
yeah.
still a good player. The
It's only
Washington
week
offense
3.
could go wrong.
Remember, like I can give you a lot of names from. Remember last year, people were dropping Etienne. Look how that turned out. Josh Jacobs after week 3, I don't even think was a top 20 running back yet. Like it would be one thing if Dotson wasn't a good player and we were just like totally buying into situation. But
Right.
Dotson's a good player. Now maybe the situation isn't very good, but he's still a good player. So in like an 8-10 team league, if there's somebody really good on the wire, sure. But I think outside of that, probably not.
Yeah. I wouldn't drop him unless you need to. Bez, trade Mostert for Devontae Smith.
Yes, big win. Big win. Sell high. You're selling high on Mostert, and you're getting a proven stud wide receiver who's been nothing but great this year. Like it's not like he's been bad. Why are people trading Devonta Smith?
I don't know. Because he didn't have a big game last night. That's it. Like, yes, get Devontae Smith, and then QJ or Palmer on the wire. Well, the guy I talked about on waivers was Palmer, so I'm definitely going for Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer.
Squiddly Booga. He just wanted me to say that. 10 team, full PPR, starting Pollard and leaning towards Mostert. Have Bijan, Etienne, and Kamara. Oh, for the flex. Wow. Okay, so
this is tough. I mean, you got to start Bijan. You got to start Bijan.
Yeah, and you're not going to put Etienne over Mostert. Etienne gets the Falcons in London.
It's a good matchup for Etienne, but man, can I really bench? I don't think I can bench Mostert right now. Look, Etienne might outscore him this week. It is the Bills. Mostert is due to cool off at some point, but can you really bench him? I think
not really.
I think I'm going Pollard, Bijan, Mostert. Kamara, a distant.
Yeah, no, Kamara's like free. Yeah, you can't not start Bijan. Etienne, it's hard to bench, but if you got Mostert, look, you don't want to chase touchdowns, but Etienne is getting vultured repeatedly by Tank Bigsby, and Mostert's scoring like every week. I mean, yeah, look, if you're choosing to flex here, go Bijan. Make it that simple. Rico Baptiste, trade away Puka and B-Rob for JT. Oh, he already did this.
I think it'll be good for you. It's a little risky because, like, I feel like you could have probably just done Puka for JT and gotten it done. Obviously, if JT does, we know he's going to be off the pup, so that's the good news. I still have to believe he's going to, I don't believe they're going to take him off the pup and then just sit him on the bench. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not one of the coaches. I'm not there of the team. Maybe Jim Irsay is just going to cut off his nose to spite his face and say, don't play him. Right? I mean, you never know. It is Jim Irsay, so you don't know. He's a total wild card. But I think it'll end up good for you long term, assuming JT, actually plays somewhere.
Yeah, I don't like trading away Robinson right now, but I think this trade might look better later in the season. If, of course, it's a big if, but I think it's fine. Like I said, you maybe could have got a little bit more or given away a little less, but I think it'll be okay. This is not a super chat, but I guess we'll throw a bone here. We have a Sean Mangano on the chat. Thoughts on this trade? Shane and Lockett for Etienne in London.
Ooh, man. I mean, I still prefer Etienne over Shane rest of the season. It's the Lockett London part that gets me. Feels pretty fair, honestly.
Yeah, this could really go either way.
For me, it really comes down to, like, does London ever and this Falcons passing attack ever actually get going? Because if it does, then I think the Etienne and London side will win by a lot. But if it doesn't, then it's probably going to be a fair trade.
I think Shane and Lockett's going to be the more volatile, more exciting side. It's going to be the one that gives you more weekly boom. So I might prefer that a little bit, but I think Etienne and London will be comparable. So it's pretty fair. Thank you, Tron, by the way. Tron Force, also now officially a member. Appreciate you. What happening? Has Laporta and Andrews on a stacked team. Would you move Andrews having Laporta? Move Andrews and Ayuk to get Keenan Allen. Is that too much?
I think you have to. I mean, I think it's an overpay for Keenan. But look, Keenan was already looking great. Now without Mike Williams, like, do we really think Josh Palmer, Gerald Everett, and Quentin Johnson at some point are taking significant targets from Keenan Allen? I mean, Keenan Allen's going to get, like a 30% target share every week now? And he's already looking good somehow. Like, this guy just isn't aging. Like, he looks better than he did. Well, he looked good at the end of last year too. So maybe it was that hamstring early in the year. But since you have Laporta, I think this is a move that does upgrade your team. So even though I think you're probably overpaying a bit, I think for your team, it'll be good. Like, it'll benefit your team, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely buying at the highest possible point with Keenan Allen because he's coming off of monsters game and Mike Williams out for the season. So you're kind of paying up to get him. But yeah, it could help your team. I mean, look, see if you can get something else. I don't know. I don't like that you're kind of buying at peak value. You know what I mean? And Ayuk didn't play, so you're almost like you could have got more, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Cerulean Dog.
What's up?
Have Hurts, I guess, Bijan Robinson, Cook, Hill, Sun God, Pickens, Andrews, Moss, Tua, Shar, Brees Hall, Sanders, London, and then did have Mike Williams. Would you trade Brees Hall in London for Kupp and Hollywood Brown in a heartbeat?
Yes.
In a heartbeat.
I mean, even if you weren't getting Hollywood, if you were just getting Kupp, I would do this in a heartbeat.
Exactly. I was like, oh, you're getting Hollywood too? That's just going to throw in. Oh, exactly. Man. Brees Hall and London for Kupp. Do it. You're not going to start Brees Hall.
Like, are people this worried about Cooper Kupp?
Yes.
Like, they're like, just give me your running back with no ACL who hasn't done anything this year, and give me your wide receiver who has one good game sandwiched by two horrendous games. And I'll give you Cooper Kupp and a wide receiver who's actually been good 2 weeks in a row. This is crazy. Crazy.
It's like, what is it? Object constancy. It's like, I haven't seen Kupp play, so he doesn't exist. So it's like, I'm getting nothing for something. It's like, no, that's not how it works. But yes, definitely do this. Royal and saying, don't get it with Njoku. He looks good. Well, I don't think the problem is that he isn't good. It's the way he's being used in this offense, which is not good. And look, I like him. We liked him a lot before the season. He's just not getting used the right way. I don't know. I don't think you have to hold him.
No, you definitely don't have to hold him.
No. Zach Ames with the super chat. Thank you, Zach. Drop Najee for a Shane. Ooh.
Man, I mean,
what do we do with Najee?
Why not? I mean, why not really? Like, are we really like, well, he plays Houston this week. Like, are we really expecting something drastically different? Maybe he can score a touchdown, but do they even get near the goal line? Like, I don't even feel like their touchdowns are when, like, they're not like near the goal line. Like, they just get like kind of inside the red zone and then, hey, it's a touchdown. Like, I don't even feel like they get near the goal line. How many goal line snaps have they even had this year? Have they had any? I don't know.
this is another example. Again, I don't think it's the player so much as the system, but the system's not changing as of right now.
No, I would just gamble on A. Shane. As crazy as it sounds, I just, at least he's got upside.
It's kind of like the Dotson thing and the Njoku thing. Good, talented players, just not either in a good situation or not being used right. So I guess so. I don't want to drop Najee, but that's what it takes to get A. Shane. Then sure. This is too far. Too far, Dennis. Dennis Howell, would you drop Christian Kirk to get tanked
No, definitely not.
No. Timothy Crooms has Tua, Mixon, Connor, Adams, Keenan, Kupp, Ertz, Swift, Hollywood, Ford, Njoku, Boyd, Judy, Reed, Breida. Trade to get better, or am I good? I feel like your starting lineup is good. Your bench has some question marks.
Yeah, I mean, look, you got Swift, you got Ford, Mixon, Connor. I don't know. I think you're good.
You good? Got Kupp sitting there?
You got Kupp in there coming back. I think you're good. You got Adams, Keenan.
Ertz is like whatever, and Njoku we just said is whatever. I mean, I don't know if you can really trade to get. Don't give up one of your really good starters to get a tight end upgrade. You know what I mean? So, I mean, maybe. Do you think packaging Judy? I would try to trade like Judy and maybe Judy and like Ford or Judy and Mixon. See if that swings you like a Kelsey or a Mark Andrews type.
Well, it might get you an Andrews. I don't think it'll get you a
maybe
Kelsey,
not Kelsey.
But you never know. Yeah,
that's probably too much for Kelsey. Maybe Connor. Hey, you never know. Connor's been really good. Maybe like, oh, look at James Conner. Hey, try it. Yeah, it might be not enough for Kelsey, but try to upgrade it. Tight end might be my only thing. But don't trade other than one of those running backs and a bench receiver. Keith Tapp, 3-0. Very nice. 10-man league. Got Fields, Richardson, Bijan, Aaron Jones, Gus, Rashawn, Kupp, Puka, Watson, Cooper, JSN, Deontay, Sun God, Mark Andrews. Who to flex?
Well, hopefully Richardson plays this week and you're going to play him. Hopefully Aaron Jones plays. I haven't really heard anything on him yet. Remember, they do play Thursday. Because if he doesn't play, I mean, Gus might not play. So then I guess you're playing Rashawn, which wouldn't feel good. So hopefully Aaron Jones plays.
Yeah.
I don't know how many.
Yeah, we don't know how many receivers and such. But look, the Sun God, obviously you're playing. Cooper would be the number 2.
Puka, you got to play.
And then Watson at the flex.
Yeah, if it's 3 in a flex, Watson. If it's 2 in a flex, not Watson.
Yeah. Cooper, obviously Sun God, and then still Puka. Running back, just hope Aaron Jones plays. And then Mike, Alta Wheel, flex Pittman or Ridley.
I still got to go Ridley. I know Pittman's been really good, but man, I don't think I can bench Ridley for Pittman just yet. I'm still going Ridley.
Yeah, you got to go with upside. Who's got the upside this week, especially? Hey, revenge game gets Atlanta. James Cook or Kyron Williams?
Oh man, I think I go Cook. Who the Rams play again?
Colts, I think. Yeah, at the Colts.
Yeah, it's like a middle of the pack-ish matchup. It's close. Pretty close. I probably go. I just like James Cook. I'll go James Cook. But look, Kyron is playing all the snaps, so there is that.
I'm going James Cook. I'm feeling a big game from him, so make life easier and agree, right?
There you go.
James Cook. Austin Young, would you trade Olave and Rachaad White for Barkley and Flowers?
I think if you're okay not having Barkley for potentially a couple more weeks, and you're I'm assuming because I think Olave and Barkley is close. I think that's fair. Like if somebody said, "Hey, I need a running back," and somebody else was like, "I need a wide receiver," and they did Olave for Barkley, I think that's fair. I'd certainly prefer Flowers over White. I mean, Rachaad White's doing nothing. So I think as long as you're okay like, hey, I'm okay if I don't have Barkley for potentially a few more weeks, which you might not. We don't know, but you might not. Then I think it's the Barkley and Flowers side is good.
This is, again, we talk about looking long term, right? Taking the tack of figuring out what's going to help you come playoff time. Having Barkley over Rashad White should definitely be an upgrade. And I like Flowers enough. I don't think it's a big hit at receiver. So, and look, Derek Carr is out now for weeks, probably a couple of weeks. Yeah, Jameis Winston on or whatever. I still prefer Derek Carr being in there. So I think this is fine. It's not lopsided in either way, but I think the Barkley Flower side is probably good. It's probably a win. Ramu, now a member also. Thank you, Ramu. Been with us for a while. Speaking of members, Sir Boomer, thinking about trading Judy for a top defense. Is that crazy like a fox or crazy like a hunt owner?
Crazy like a hunt owner. Don't trade a player who's actually scoring fantasy points and is involved in the offense for a defense.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but I mean, I don't mind trading Judy, but you get an actual player probably.
Yeah, I mean,
defenses
it's not like
that look like top defenses then lose to teams like Arizona.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like Judy's doing nothing. He's scoring like he's catching passes, scoring points.
Another member, Jeff Football. Thank you. Appreciate that. This one, I think, is a win. Ronald Armaza traded Mostert for Cup.
What are people doing? I mean, yeah, this is, you're going to look back on this. Whoever the poorer soul is that gave you Cooper Kupp for Raheem Mostert is going to look back with so much regret at the end of the season. The only way this is not a win is if Kupp doesn't play this year. Like, this huge win. This
was the right choice, Ronald. Good job.
Yes.
And I wish, I could say, man, I need to go to my league and see what I can get for Kupp. Oh, wait, I can't because we play with people who watch our show. So it's like,
right. Like, geez.
All right. Good choice. We have, so Roman has a question. Drop Jake Ferguson for Musgrave. Yeah, you can do this.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Sure.
Yeah, I do like Musgrave this week.
Yeah.
No, you know what? My problem is not my camera. My camera is actually pretty good. My problem is my internet out here is not so good. But
he needs new internet.
We're working on it. And if you have not been knighted by Sir Boomer, who just knighted Sir Ramu and Sir Jeff Football,
nice.
We'll let him know. We have Sir Carl. Buffalo defense against Miami. Would you trust it or stream?
This is what I'll tell you. My wife, who is learning fantasy football, is rolling with Buffalo. I'm pretty sure she's rolling with Buffalo this week because they just went off last week. And somehow it always seems like when my wife does this, it's right. She's like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not so sure about that. And then they end up being awesome. She's like, I told you. So I'm not doubting my wife anymore. So if you want to doubt my wife, go ahead, but I'm not.
Doesn't sound like a good idea. And yes, you that's the smartest thing that you could say is she is always right. Just remember that. And I mean, I wouldn't do this. I would rather go with another defense. Don't know who's out there for you. Saints are probably already rostered by somebody. A streaming defense.
I like Cincy this week against Tennessee.
Yeah, Cincy, it's a road game. They probably aren't rostered too much. No, let me see.
I mean, how many sacks did Cincy have last night in this
Maybe the Jaguars going against Atlanta.
Yeah, they burned me last week with their -1 or whatever they got. I'm debating if I'm going to play them or Cincy in one of my leagues.
Yeah, last week wasn't good. So that's it. Not too many great defensive streamers this week, just to be honest.
Yeah, there aren't really.
And then Senor Royland. Everyone's got a nickname now. Ford, Kyron, Algier, Tajay, Akers, Kendre, Bigsby have to drop one for Ayuk. So somehow Brandon Ayuk is on waivers.
Or maybe he was in his IR slot because he was out last week.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. Also, Zamir, reasonable stash. No,
Zamir, not a reasonable stash. I mean, look, even like he's not even getting run. Like we're seeing like Amir Abdullah getting run, not even like nah.
Yeah.
I think you could drop Bigsby for Ayuk. I mean, you could drop Bigsby, Kendre, or Akers for Ayuk, honestly, but I think Bigsby might be the one right now.
Yeah, don't drop any of the first three. I mean, might as well see what Akers does this week, if anything, before you drop him. So Bigsby is the guy you could drop. And then Jeff Football, a Shane trade for Jones and picks. Are we Aaron Jones?
Well, yeah, it depends which Jones and it depends which picks, to be honest. It depends.
Yeah, depends which picks. Obviously, you're not getting a first round pick. So, yeah, if you want to come back, Jeff, and obviously you got a membership anyway, so just let us know exactly what the detail is. So we'll get to that. Let's see. Another one, Nagel fam, gamer fam. All right.
All right.
All right, time to get to Chapinski, 323, 0-3, needs some help. All right, well, you came to the right place. Have Cousins and Fields.
Definitely starting Cousins this week.
Yes. Javonte Williams, Ford, Pierce, Charbonnet, Rashawn Johnson. Wide receiver, Amon, Devontae, Ridley, and JSN. That's good. Hunter Henry. Trade suggestions or hold tight and hope for better days.
Well, I mean, better days may be ahead, but you might have to wait a while for them because I don't foresee Javonte being good anytime soon. Look, Charbonnet may be closing the gap, but it's probably going to be a while till he really closes the gap. And even then, like, it's not like he's going to take Kenneth Walker's job or something. Same with Rashawn. I mean, maybe Rashawn becomes the lead back, but he's on the Chicago. Yeah, and I don't really see any. Like, who are you trading here? Obviously, Fields has no trade value. Maybe Ford has some trade value, but if you trade Ford, are you comfortable rolling with like Javonte Williams and Dameon Pierce as your running backs? Like, no way. No way. You don't really want to trade Amon-Ra. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe you could package like Ridley and look, I do think Javonte Williams still has some trade value. I do think there are plenty of people out there who still think Javonte Williams will be good, second half of the year. So maybe you could package Ridley and Javonte, but then is JSN gonna be your wide receiver 3? That's no good. Yeah, I don't know. This is tough. I don't see anything that jumps out where like, oh yeah, you can sell high on that guy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, running back is the issue here. Obviously, Fields is a big part of why you're 0-3. Got good receivers. Yeah. And I mean, if you want to take a chance here, you could just say, I'm gonna go with Fields and hope he gets better, at least is startable, and try to sell Cousins because he's got trade value, because somebody might really want Cousins because he's been going off. That's the only thing I might think of is just take a shot, hope Fields gets better, try to trade Cousins to upgrade somehow, package him with like Javonte. I would hold Ford. And yeah, just try to upgrade at running back that way. Hopefully better days are ahead. But yeah. I feel like you should have more bench players on a team like this. But all right, let's move on to the great Brandini. Should I accept a trade to give up Waddle for Puka and Aaron Jones?
No, I'm keeping Waddle. I still have faith in Waddle. It's not like he's been bad. He just had one game where Tyreek Hill went for 200 yards, and then he had a game where he got hurt. Like, I mean, it wasn't even an injury. It was a concussion. I mean, yeah, I know it's an injury, but it wasn't like like a hamstring or something where you have to worry about it lingering. I still want Waddle here.
Yeah, I'm not doing this to give up a guy whose value might maybe not tank, but go down when Cooper Kupp comes back, and then Aaron Jones, good when he plays, but also some injuries here. No, I would hold. You got JT on IR. If he comes back, you won't really need Aaron Jones, so don't give up Waddle. Mary Jo, welcome back. 8 team. Got Goff, Bijan, Swift, Olave, Ridley, Laporta, St. Brown on the bench, Rashad, DJ, Ingram, Charbonnet on the waiver. Let's see. Drop fields for Stroud. This is an 8-team league.
It's an 8-team league, but I mean, is Stroud really the best option on waivers in an 8-team league?
Might be. I mean, a lot of people roster more than one quarterback, even though they don't need to.
Yeah. I mean, my only worry with dropping Fields, because remember last year, Fields for 5 weeks did nothing, and then he broke fantasy. If they start letting him run, if they're like, okay, forget it, just run the ball 15 times a game, just go. You know what I mean? Like, we're not even going to try to pass the ball anymore. Let's just run the ball 15 times a game with Fields, like they did last year.
Well, actually, no, I'm looking at it. You're saying, you got Goff at starting quarterback. Like, is there a big difference between Goff and Stroud? They're pretty similar. So I don't think you need both those guys, right? You might as well keep Fields and then just pick either Goff or Stroud.
Yeah, and I think this week I go Stroud because Goff on the road against Packers, that doesn't excite me. So I would actually drop Goff for Stroud.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And then hold on to Fields just to see. And the others, definitely. Josh Reynolds for A-Shane and Gus Edwards for Tank Dell. Yeah, you definitely
get those. Definitely.
Let's see. Quinner. What's up, Quinn? Let's see where I don't see. Oh, here it is. All right. Would you trade CMC away? Probably not. For Gibbs, Connor, and Lockett.
No way. I mean, look, I don't think it's like a horrible offer. Like if you just look at it value-wise. But again, this is like the other trade. You're getting 3, like, hey, here's my 3 like okay guys for your one incredible guy. And that one incredible guy is worth more. Because remember, this is another thing people don't really think about when you make a 2-for-1 or a 3-for-1. It's not just CMC. It's CMC plus whoever the guy is going to put in to replace. Like, let's say, the guy gives Connor and Lockett. Well, he's getting CMC, but then he's going to put somebody else in for Connor and somebody else in for Lockett. Now, they might not be as good as Connor and Lockett, but it doesn't matter because CMC is like so good. Like, so you just can't do this. You can't. CMC is too good. You can't. Like, the only thing that can stop CMC this year is injury. Like, he's just too good.
And I get it. You're scared. 0-3 doesn't feel good. I mean, look, you got a ton of talent on this team. It sucks that Mike Williams is now gone, but you got Kupp coming back. Watson now is coming back.
You got Puka.
Yeah, you got Puka. Look, I would say trade Puka because you got Kupp. Try to sell high on Puka. Waller has struggled. He should be better. So hold tight. You've got good players. If you can roll out a starting lineup that has Kupp and Watson, and then whoever you can get in exchange for Puka with CMC and Mahomes, you'll be fine. And then George Brennan just wants to drop by and say thank you. Got Jamar Chase, bought low on him last week.
Nice.
Very nice. Michael Avila. Let's see where his question is. Michael will get to it as soon as I see it. All right, let's keep going. Michael, I'll look for your question. If we don't see it, then feel free to repost it. And then Sal, also a member, does Jeff Wilson have a role when he returns? Well, maybe less of a role, but he will have a role.
Yeah, this isn't going to be like Mike McDaniel doesn't feel like the guy that just gives one guy the ball. I mean, look, week 1, it was just Mostert because who else was there? Week 2, it was mostly Mostert because I think Ahmed got hurt during the week 2 game, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then last week it was Mostert and Shane. Yes, Wilson will have a role. Like, don't expect a big role. Like, I don't think Wilson looked like a much better stash before Shane broke out. Now it's like, yeah, at best it's going to be like he's going to be part of a 3-headed monster. At worst, he's going to be just like a guy who comes in and gives him breathers. So, yeah, I don't think he has a relevant role. No.
Not enough to be, relevant. That's the key word. Not enough to be worth, thinking, I can start him when he's back. Not unless one of the other guys gets hurt. I'm sorry. He'll be a situational guy. He might score the occasional touchdown, but yeah, it would be like deep league only. And then I think this is a quick one. I'll go for Mateo Feo. Bigsby for Fields. You can actually get stuff for Bigsby right now. Yes, I think you could do that. Isn't it worth it?
Yeah, I mean, I still start Russ this week. I really like Russ this week, but yeah, at least put Fields on your bench. Yes.
Yeah, you can do this. It's worth a shot on the upside. Chief Perp, would you trade Josh Jacobs for Cup?
I mean, I
Where
definitely
to
think it's a
go?
good trade. I think this is the most fair Cup trade we've seen so far. At least it's actually a good player for Cup. It's not like some guy you grabbed off a waiver wire and now you're trading him for Cooper Cup. Like, what are we doing, people? I think it's definitely a good trade. I think it really comes down. Well, so you got Walker, Etienne, Kyron Swift, Aaron Jones, and Barkley on IR. Yeah, you don't really need Josh Jacobs. I mean, you got plenty of good running backs. I think, yes, it's a good trade. You don't really need Josh Jacobs. Don't be sad if Josh Jacobs goes off this week because he might, and he's certainly going to outscore Cooper Kupp this week. I pretty much feel confident on that. But I think long term, this will work out for you because of the running backs you have.
Yeah, I don't know how deep this league is, but how is it you somehow have like 5 actually startable running backs when nobody else can barely scrape together 2 or 3? So
Right.
That's good. You do this, and yeah, I would definitely do this, and maybe even also trade away a guy like Kyron or while you can and get some more help because you're good at running back. Steve Martin is in the house, the one and only. 0-3. Okay, I have Deshaun Watson, AR, Love, CMC, Cup, Swift, Watson, Ridley, Barkley, Kincaid, Nashane. Am I screwed? No, because you could have Cup coming back. Watson's coming back. Barkley will come back. And you got Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I hesitate to say you have to win this week, but because we don't know, like, if Cup will be back next week, we don't know if Barkley will be back next week.
Yeah.
So if you don't win this week and those guys aren't back next week, you're like potentially staring 0-5 in the face. But you have a team, like you have a team when healthy. That's a very good team. Now, is this super flex? I mean, that's my first, like, why do you have 3 QBs?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that 3 QBs. If it is super flex or 2 QB, good, no problem. You're
No
set.
problem.
If this is a league where you only need to start one quarterback, you don't trade one of these guys at least.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely don't think you're screwed, especially if Cup and Barkley are back next week. Because hopefully Watson is back this week. You got Swift. Maybe a Shane. Maybe he's the thing. You got Watson coming back. Hopefully Ridley can bounce back. I don't think you're screwed.
No, I mean, you could have a really potent starting lineup when those guys play all together at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
I think you need to upgrade at tight end. You can't just roll Kincaid out there every week. He's not doing much. Trade one of those quarterbacks. Try to upgrade at tight end, either waivers or trade, depending on the situation there. And other than that, I think you're good. Emilio, hello from Medellin again. Thank you.
All right.
Well, no, thank you for being back with us again. 3-0. All right. So with this team, would you trade Chase for Hurts in a 2 QB league? It's a 2 QB league.
He's got Richardson, Jimmy G, and Fields. He's got Adams, Chase, Ayuk. But you don't. I would have liked this more when you still had Mike Williams.
Yeah, I mean, look, you could have, should have been fine with Fields and AR, one of those guys, but I don't know. 2 QB league, I don't know. I think I would go for Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, 2 QB is definitely. If it's really 2 QB, not super flex, 2 QB, where you have to start 2. I mean, it's hard not to take the elite QB, especially when you're looking at this week. Like, you don't really want to start Fields. Jimmy G in the concussion protocol.
Jimmy G might not play.
AR still in the protocol. I mean, I think he'll be cleared, but he might not. And if he's not, and Jimmy G isn't, like, you're starting Fields and nobody, you're just taking a 0 at your QB2. You are 3-0, so I mean, I guess you could take the L here. I just worry though, like, how many wide receivers do you have to start? Like, if you only have to start 2 wide receivers, and you could just roll out Adams and Ayuk, but even still, like, bye weeks are coming. I mean,
I
but
don't know.
man, Hurts and Anthony Richardson could be a deadly combo at QB.
Yeah, 2 QB league. I think you have to. I would rather go with Hurts and Sky Moore than Chase and Jimmy G, or even Justin Fields. Like, yeah, it should be Justin Fields. Look, you need the stud because AR also. Who knows? I would take the Hurts, and then it's easier to replace a receiver than a quarterback. That's for sure.
Sure, true.
Steven, full PPR got Bijan Madison, White, Warren, Spears, Boston Scott. Should I package Madison and Pickens or Addison for an upgraded RB?
Yes, but I'll say this. I'll say this, like I always say. Like who like, because when we look at the running back landscape right now, you say, "Oh, I'm going to get an RB2, a better RB2." Well, who are we talking about as a better RB2? Like, I mean, can you get Travis Etienne? Can you get Kenneth Walker? Probably not right now because people are treating him like he's an RB1 because he has 4 touchdowns over the last 2 games. Can you get, I mean, like, who else are we really considering like RB? Can you get Ramondre? Do you even want Ramondre for these guys? Like,
yeah,
I mean,
like a Swift, maybe like a Swift, or
I mean, yeah, if you could get a Swift, maybe if you get a Swift, but like what I mean is like there's not better RB2s just out there growing on trees. Like there's very few of them. You know what I mean?
right.
So it's like because you're not getting CMC. Well, I mean, maybe if you like that one, but I mean, you're not getting CMC. You're not getting Bijan. You're probably not getting Eckler. Maybe you can get Barkley if the person who has Barkley is just desperate for a win. Maybe you could get that, but you probably need more than Madison and Pickens. You're not getting Pollard. I mean, do you want Henry? I mean, like, maybe if he's your RB2, that's okay. I mean, but yeah, like, sure, if you can get a better RB2, do it. But I mean, again, the point is like there's just not a lot of RB2s out there, like just screaming like, oh, look at all these great RB2s. Which one do I want? There's just not a lot. So yeah, you could try. Maybe Henry. Henry might be the one. Maybe Jacobs.
Yeah, and you got Spears.
What's that?
He's got Spears stashed already, so kind of got that handcuff already in place.
Yeah, I mean, people are pretty low on Henry right now. They're pretty panicked about Henry. So look, I don't think Henry's going to be great rest of the season, but if he's your RB2, I'm totally fine with that. I think that's more than fine. More than fine.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as you're actually getting a better RB, that's the thing. Don't get someone who's comparable to Rachaad White,
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to go out there and be like, oh, I got Rachaad White, or I got, whatever. Like, yeah, Damian Pierce. Like, no.
Yeah. I don't think we can call him an RB2 anymore, sadly. No. Nagel fam, Gamer fam. PPR 7 starters don't have to use a tight end. Nice. Start 3. Lockett, Nakua, Gary Wilson, Ingram, and Laporta, Dobbs, and Pacheco.
All right. Well, I think Lockett and Nakua are the must. You got to start those two.
Start.
I mean,
okay,
I cannot start Garrett.
I
cannot start Garrett Wilson this week. I just cannot do it. I can't.
Yeah, not Wilson. I liked Pacheco last week. This week,
I don't like Pacheco much this week.
No, yeah, I was gonna say not this week. Dobbs maybe.
I mean, I like Ingram and Laporta, but like, look, I like Laporta. He had a big game last week, but let's not act like Laporta being all alone behind the secondary is going to be a weekly occurrence. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to catch a 60-yard touchdown where he gets loose behind the secondary and they just forget about him probably ever again this year, honestly. And I do like Ingram this week, but man, can I really start a tight end?
I mean, if you feel like he's got a lot of upside, Ingram is fine at tight end, but
yes,
like you said, I would rather go for a Dobbs type than Ingram.
Yeah, I think I'm going Lockett,
Dobbs. Probably Dobbs for me.
Yeah, I can't start Garrett Wilson this week.
No.
Against
All right.
KC. No.
There you go. And then we got Cheekers. Trade Andrews for Madison and Fab.
I mean,
No.
no.
You cannot be trading for Madison right now. No.
And
Fab.
I don't know how much Fab it is, but it's not enough.
It really doesn't matter. No, don't trade away Andrews for that. Sanders for JT. Yes.
That I would do. Look, I do like Sanders this week. Don't be sad if Sanders has a big game this week. It's okay. JT will hopefully be back. Like, we know he's coming off the pup. That's guaranteed. They've already said it. Shane Steichen has already said it. He's coming off pup after week 4.
Yep.
Maybe they just sit him on the bench. Maybe they stick their nose up at him and say, we're going to show you. And really all they're doing is showing themselves like how, that they're keeping a elite player on the bench. But that's not usually how NFL teams operate. They like winning games and they like putting good players on the field. So this is a win for you, definitely.
Yeah, it's not like, you're having to sell super high on Sanders, who's having a great season. He's been fine, but I would take a chance on JT. Randy Mitchell is 3-0. Nice. That's what we want to hear. Herbert, Mostert, Najee, Jefferson, A.J. Brown, Hawkinson, Nakua, and a kicker. Bench has Kamara, Algier, Lockett, Cup, Flowers. Thoughts, drops, trade away, needs?
Well, you need an RB2. Because I don't know if I want Najee as my RB2. Look, you're 3-0 with Najee so far, pretty much because of Mostert. I mean, look, you got Kamara. I'm sure he'll be better than Najee at least because, man, it's hard to be worse than Najee's been. But I'd still like some RB depth behind him because Kamara's no spring chicken. And neither is Mostert, by the way.
I mean, is it too obvious to say, look, you have Cup, trade Puka, and try to upgrade?
That's what I'm doing. You're 3-0. You're 3-0. Trade Puka. Go get CMC. I'm being semi-sarcastic, by the way. I'm sure there have been trades where somebody gave up CMC for Puka, but go get like whatever, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, if that's your thing, somebody like that. Even if you lose this week because you didn't have Puka, you're 3-1, and then Cup may be coming back week 5, and you'll be fine. Yeah, trade Puka. Go get a better RB.
Yeah, and you can afford to trade Puka because not only Cup coming back, but Flowers and Lockett on the bench. You could start both those guys.
You might not
you're
even
fine.
miss
Definitely trade Puka. Maybe try to trade Kamara too.
Yeah.
Upgraded RB2. And then here's another from Alaska Moose Dog. Wants Cup. Tried to trade Puka for Cup, but got denied. Well, would I trade Pollard or Robinson? No, don't try to trade Pollard. Robinson.
No.
I mean, I don't think you can get Cup for Robinson straight up either.
No, I mean, the thing is, like, as much as I like Cup, having Pollard, I assume that's Bijan Robinson. Which, by the way, if you have both, I mean, if it's
I was thinking Brian Robinson. If it's Bijan Robinson, no, don't trade him either.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, as much as I like Cup, there's only a handful of running backs like Pollard and Bijan Robinson. Like, you can't give them up. There's just like if you watch our running back start sit video and our wide receiver start sit video, when we do like the must starts in the beginning, there's like 6 or 7 running backs and there's like 14 or 15 wide receivers. Like when you have 2 of those running backs, you don't let go of them unless you get like a Godfather offer. So, yeah, I mean, it's good. It's actually good. It's not good for you, but it's good for the player that had Cup that was like, I'm not taking Nakua. I'm not falling for that trap because a lot of people have fallen for that trap. So, but don't trade Pollard or Robinson for Cup. Just hold on to them and let the rest of your league be jealous all year. Yeah.
Don't give up that advantage if you have. Don't trade Pollard Robinson. And look, you have 3 guys on the bench who all could be solid RB2s at this time. Look, if the guy who has Cup is not going for Puka, he's probably not going to buy it on Zach Moss, right? Maybe not Jerome Ford either. Maybe, though, you might have to finagle this. Try to trade one of those running backs who looks like they're, every week starter for now, like a Moss or a Ford that you don't need, to get some sort of a receiver that you think the Cup owner would want. You know what I mean? And then maybe package him with Puka or some other running back. You know what I mean? Try to figure out, well, what are you looking for? Ask the Cup, what is it you need? Or look at his team. What does he need? What does he like? Is he a Chargers fan? Is he a Vikings fan? Is he what? Try to figure out what you think that guy wants. See if you can get something in the trade market with one of those backup running backs from another team, and then try a different package, right? Try to put something together. And Michael Avila, here's a question. Playing 10 team, got Lamar, Ken Walker, Rashad White, Justin Jefferson, St. Brown, Goddard, Olave. Would you trade Olave for Pollard?
Yes. If I'm getting Pollard, definitely. It's like I said, Olave is one of 14 or 15 wide receivers we say you have to start. Pollard is one of like 6 or 7 running backs we say you have to start. It's just more valuable. Yes.
Yeah, it just in a vacuum, yes, get the stud running back for the stud receiver, but then you already have Jefferson and St. Brown. You're good at receiver. You can put somebody else in there. It's a 10-team league. Getting that stud, yeah, do it. All right. And then before we get to the next super chat, just want to mention real quick because we're at the 2-hour mark. We'll still stay on for probably at least another hour. We're catching up on the super chats. If you did put a super chat in the last half hour, we're still getting there. Don't worry. We have not forgotten you. Just hang around with us. But also want to remind you, if you haven't joined Underdog, remember, they are doing those new customer specials still. So if you sign up, of course, when you sign up, make sure you use promo code ENDGAME because that gets you your deposit match. 100% match up to $100. You don't have to deposit 100. You can go as little as 10, 20 bucks, whatever you want. But you get dollar for dollar match if you use that promo code and that special, basically giving you a freebie. Jared Goff just needs 1 yard. Pair it with any other pick. You can triple your money right away. Or you can try to win up to 20 times your money, which I have to say, humble brag. I was pretty happy because I do a lot of those. I'm a risk taker by nature. So I like to do the really stupid, like 4 and 5 player bets that rarely pay off. But they paid off this week because I did a 4-player and a 5-player pick 'em, nailed them both.
Nice.
And got myself, I think, was it 350 or something like that? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So it pays off. I'm not saying that's the best way to do it, but that's how I do it. Nagel Fam Gamer Fam with another one. Garrett Wilson and Laporta for Ayuk.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, take Ayuk.
Ayuk's going to be great. Definitely.
Randy Mitchell, same 3-0 team, I think. Justin Herbert, McCaffrey, Sanders, Lockett, Olave, Nakua Hawkinson. I think this is the same question. We already did this one, basically.
Yeah, it looks the same to me, yes.
So I'll make sure it's nothing different. But yeah, I know he did put that earlier. So let's see. Ryan Torres traded Ford for Ayuk and Matt Breida.
Nice.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, especially when you got Bijan, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, James Cook. You don't really need Jerome Ford. That's well done. Well done.
That's good. And look, now you can slide Ayuk there in your number 3 spot. Got Addison and London. Sky Quinn. Okay. Who to drop for a defense this week?
I'm going to say Breida and Quentin Johnston. I mean, are you ever going to start Breida over these 4 running backs? No. Quentin Johnston, more of a long play. I mean, you could drop Sky too if you want, but at least he's kind of getting involved. If it was me, I'm dropping Breida and Quentin.
So he's looking long-term. But long-term, to me, Quentin Johnston, I know you agree, is more long-term, like next year long-term.
Yeah.
Joel Rodriguez, selling high on Mostert or keeping?
I mean, definitely selling high. But like I always say, it's got to be selling high. Like, don't be like, hey, I traded Raheem Mostert and I got Drake London. Well, I mean, I don't know nobody's going to do that. But you know what I mean? Like,
well, he's already got Drake London, apparently. So
okay,
there you go.
Like, don't be like, I traded Mostert and got George Pickens. Even though I like George Pickens, it's like, yeah, I mean, okay, yeah, maybe long-term George Pickens is better, but you could probably get more, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree. It's sell high, sure, but just make sure you sell for enough.
Yes.
Mike Ball, Mostert, Coop, Pacheco, or Jacobs and Waddle. Which side would you prefer?
I mean, Jacobs Waddle by a mazillion miles. Like, yeah, Jacobs Waddle for sure.
Definitely Jacobs and Waddle. Yeah. George Plantamaras, thank you. Appreciate the super chat. You know, George has been here before. So 1-2 in this 10-team league. He needs 1, 2, 2, 1, and 2 flex. So let's see. You got Lawrence at quarterback, Ramondre, Gibbs, Chase, Olave, Goddard, Ridley, Swift on the bench, AR, Dotson, Addison, Rashawn, Ford, Monty on IR. Drop Dotson for Laporta. Would you drop Dotson for Laporta if you have Goddard?
No, I think I'd still rather drop Rashawn. Well, he's got to drop Rashawn to move Monty. So I guess Monty's was on IR, but now since he's technically like questionable again or whatever, you can't stash him, which is really annoying, by the way. Like I shouldn't have to take a guy out of IR, like just because the week started over. Like it's pretty annoying, honestly. One of my fantasy football pet peeves. Like the guy, like what, we don't know if he's playing or not. Why do I have to take him out of IR and then wait for the end of the week for him to be ruled out again so I can put him back in IR? Anyways, man, I really don't want to drop Dotson. Like,
I think you can drop Rashawn though, because look, he's got Ramondre, Gibbs, Swift, and then Ford and Monty. I mean,
well,
you
yeah,
really don't
Rashawn is
need
the one,
Rashawn.
but I think he's saying he's got to drop Rashawn to move Monty because Monty's in IR, and since he's technically not out because hey, the game ended.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I mean, yeah, I think, and then that's fine. I don't think you're going to miss Rashawn Johnson, and it's a 10-team league. You can
No.
drop Rashawn, don't worry about it. And then drop Dotson for Laporta. No, I mean, are we really feeling Laporta is a big upgrade over Goddard? I think I would still go Goddard.
Yeah, I wish you had somebody else to drop. I mean, if you can drop Rashawn for Laporta, I would do it.
And then thoughts on upgrading RB. I mean, you have good running backs. You just don't have a stud running back. And like I see why you've dropped 2 games. Chase did nothing the first 2 weeks. Lawrence is disappointed. Ramondre really hasn't done much yet. But you have good players and you have good talent. Ridley also 1 big game, 2 down games.
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay. Your running backs, if you can somehow turn that quantity into quality, like do a 2-for-1 and upgrade, you could try to get like a Ford plus, I don't know. Do you think like Ford plus Gibbs to get like Saquon or Eckler or something?
I don't know if
Maybe
it'll
somebody goes
work.
for that if they're desperate.
I mean, you could try, but I mean, look, we've seen some crazy trades. You never know. I don't think it'll work, but you could try. But you do have good running backs. I mean, you got Ramondre, you got Gibbs, you got Swift, you got Ford. I mean, you're fine at running back. I don't think you like have to upgrade. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you'll be okay at running back.
Yeah. You got talent on this team. I think you'll be okay even with what you have. So yeah, you could try to get a stud running back if you can do a twofer with 2 of those running backs, but that would be pretty much it. And you could drop Rashawn. I wouldn't worry about that. Mary Jo, Hollywood on the waiver wire. Would you drop DJ to get him?
DJ Moore, man, there's nobody else. You don't like DJ Moore is your worst player. You don't have a worse player than DJ Moore.
Yeah, I get benching him, but I don't want to drop DJ Moore.
Yeah,
I wouldn't drop him for Hollywood.
I gotta think you have somebody worse, like a handcuff running back, or like if you're in a league where Hollywood Brown is on your waiver wire and you drop, say, like Tyjae Spears, highly doubt somebody is adding Tyjae Spears. You know what I mean?
She is in an 8-team league, if I remember, so it's pretty shallow, but still.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he is your worst player. If it's an 8-team league, maybe he is your worst player. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't know if Hollywood is necessarily like a huge upgrade over. You get more right now, though.
All right, here's an important one from Alex B. Should he advise his wife to drop Dalvin for Kamara or just stay out of it?
I would not advise your wife to do anything. I would say, what does your gut tell you?
I'm dropping Dalvin, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm dropping Dalvin for Kamara, and I don't even like Kamara, but I'm still dropping Dalvin for Kamara. But just understand, if somehow Dalvin Cook runs like some random 60-yard touchdown run this week, it's your fault. It's your fault.
I mean, it will still probably be his fault, but look, you can say, "Hey, I asked the guys on YouTube, and they said to do it." So,
she won't care. It's your fault.
It'd be like, well, why are you listening to the guys on YouTube? Yeah,
it will be your fault.
It will be your fault no matter what.
So
I forgot. Has a Shane too. Let's go back real quick to George. He does have a Shane. Yeah, you can definitely drop Rashawn. Try to trade a Shane.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, but you could definitely drop Rashawn. Yeah, you can definitely drop Rashawn.
Yeah. Carl, back to the defense question. He wants to know who to stream. Denver, only because they play the Bears.
Yeah, but they're
Seattle because they play the Giants. Tampa, no. Indy, no. Houston.
Well, Tampa is interesting. They play.
No, well, they play the Saints with Jameis Winston. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like, Jameis could take sacks and turn the ball over.
Yeah. I would. Ugh.
Yeah, it's
gave up 70 points last week.
It's a rough week for streaming defenses for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Who's the Indy play again?
The Rams.
I mean, look, Stafford will throw picks and take sacks. It's not like the Rams have been scoring a ton of points. It's not like the Rams are, you know what I mean? This isn't like the Super Bowl Rams where they're scoring like 30-plus points every week. They haven't been scoring a lot. Maybe Indy.
Yeah. Maybe Indy. I don't know. Maybe I'm still too high in Denver. They're playing Chicago, so that might be the best choice. Slayton, second place, got the most points. Very nice. 12 teams.
Nice.
Have Herbert, Bijan, Keenan. That's a big reason why. Kelsey.
Yeah, that's a good core.
Would you sell high, maybe to get Cup, or hold for depth?
Well,
K9 is my only other back.
I mean, who are you selling? Who are you selling high? Because the only other running back I see is Bijan Robinson. I am not trading Bijan Robinson for Cup. No way.
I don't think you should be trying to trade Keenan Allen right now. You want to trade Kelsey right now. I don't think you do anything with these guys.
I agree. I think you're good.
Yeah, look, if you have Bijan and K9 as your running backs, you're solid, you're good, you're happy. You have a stud quarterback. You got his best receiver, who has been the best receiver in fantasy behind maybe Jefferson. Yeah, look, you're good. I think you're good. I don't think I'm going to make any moves and shake this up. You don't need to take a chance to get Cup with players like this. I don't think so. Oh, well, okay. Now it makes more sense. I'm seeing the follow-up.
Oh, I mean, okay.
He's asking, do I sell on a Shane? All right.
I mean, if you could trade a Shane for Cup, you'd do it. But I mean, I really hope whoever has Cup is not giving you Cup for a Shane. But you never know. Like last time I checked, a Shane has about 50 something more points than Cooper Cup this year. So maybe that'll do it. Maybe that's enough.
What has Cooper Cup done this season? Nothing.
He hasn't done anything. He's a bum.
Nothing. All right. So the answer is always the same. Sell high, sure. If you can sell high, if you can get Cup for a Shane, yes, I'm doing it. Ali, what is up? Thinking of dropping two guys. I'm just gonna say, without looking at your roster, drop the Jets running backs. Drop them. All right, dropping two guys for a Shane and Palmer. Good idea. Got Keenan and
Jeff Wilson,
Dotson, Hall, Cook. Let's just drop Dalvin. Can we just drop Dalvin Cook? So
yeah, I mean Dalvin Cook is an auto drop. Like don't even like sweat it.
Dotson in this case and hold Brees Hall.
Well, here's the thing: is Jeff Wilson on your IR? Because that means you probably can't drop him and pick somebody up. But if Jeff Wilson's not on your IR, like if he's just on your bench, I would drop him. Like I said earlier, he was an interesting when it looked like it was just going to be him and Mostert, and maybe a Shane would at some point start getting snaps. But it looks like he's already getting snaps, so not as interested in Jeff Wilson anymore. So if he's not in your IR spot, if he's just sitting on your bench, I would drop him for Palmer pretty easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Um,
And he does need RB help because I think these are like all his running backs.
no, he definitely needs RB help. I know.
Yeah, definitely get a Shane. I think I don't. Yeah, like we don't want to have to drop Dotson, and you can't drop any of your other running backs because you need them.
Yeah, I guess in this case, like if Jeff Wilson's in your IR spot and you can't drop him, I mean, you can drop him, but you can't drop him and pick somebody up, then I guess Dotson. But if I could, I would want to drop Cook and Wilson would be my preferred two.
Right. And then Henry for Musgrave, that's fine. It's pretty even there. I like Musgrave this week. I think you can do it for this week.
Yeah.
All right. JK, just no. Full PPR 1 and 2. Need some help. Who can I move or add? Got Fields, Reek, Garrett Wilson, London, Pickens, Nico, Aaron Jones, Najee, Gus, Rachaad White, Josh Kelly, Khalil Herbert, and Laporta. Who can you move? You can try to get anything for Khalil Herbert and Josh Kelly. If not, you can drop Herbert.
I don't think you're getting anything for those guys, unfortunately.
Probably not.
You can drop them and add, obviously, if guys like Shane, Dell, Palmer, guys like that. If they're still out there, of course.
Another trade Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, but the problem is, like we were screaming at you, trade him, and then and then nobody traded him. Well, I guess some people did trade him going into week 2, and you got lucky with that 68-yard touchdown, and we were like, you still have a chance, please trade him. Now I think pretty much everybody realizes Garrett Wilson's going to be really bad with Zach Wilson now. Like I had very few people comment and say like, I still believe in Garrett Wilson. Like I think people realize now, like, oh, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. So I don't know if you can even trade Garrett Wilson anymore, but I mean, look, maybe you could do like Pickens and like you need wide receiver. So, but if you could do like you need running back too, kind of.
Yeah, you kind of need running back more than a receiver, even, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, Najee, you can't trade Najee. No one wants Najee. No. White's been terrible. Kelly's awful.
Kind of a tough spot because you have guys who are underachieving, and then you really need like Aaron Jones to be good, but he was hurt. I mean, you could mix and match between like Rachaad White and Najee and be okay, but yeah, you're gonna have to try to trade. I mean, look, don't give up your only advantage here, which is Tyreek Hill. Like, don't trade Tyreek Hill no matter what.
Yeah.
Try to trade Garrett Wilson. Try to maybe Pickens can get you something. I mean, you can't really trade Fields, so just hope Fields bounces back. Honestly, don't know what else you can do with this team in the trade market.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody wants Josh Kelly. You never know. The Kane train. Dak, Puka, Barkley for Tua, Devontae Smith, and Kamara.
I think I want the Dak side. I mean, I certainly prefer Smith over Puka, but I miles prefer Barkley over Kamara.
Yeah.
Like I think Puka, even with Kupp, will still be like at least a wide receiver 2 type. I don't think Kamara is going to even be an RB2 type, to be honest. I think he's going to be really bad. So I think I want the Dak side here.
I mean, it's really all about the running back here. I mean, I definitely would prefer Tua and Devontae to Dak and Puka, but it's not a huge difference. But it's a big difference between Barkley and Kamara. So as long as Barkley's back in a couple of weeks, I think that advantage is better. But look, if you're, it seems like, I mean, when people say this for this, the for makes it seem like that's what you would be getting. So I would say, no, don't do that. Steven, thanks. Well, of course, obsessing too much. Look, I think we all have that same issue, don't we? We spend way too much time obsessing over all our lineups.
That's why like all I will say, like being in whatever, I'm in like 11 or 12 leagues this year. It's a headache. It's an absolute headache. But one of the benefits is you don't obsess over your teams, because I hardly even remember. Like I hardly even remember who I have on teams. Like I forgot to take Brandon Ayuk out of a lineup last week because I forgot I even had Brandon Ayuk on a team because I only had him on one team.
Yep.
And he got ruled out right before Thursday. We were doing the live stream. It wasn't even until I checked like on Friday, I was like, oh, that's right, I had Brandon Ayuk on this team. Oh well, like, so one of the benefits is you don't stress about your RB2 position, because I don't even know who's in most of my RB2 slots.
Look, and I'll say I highly recommend having more than one fantasy league, because not only does it give you more kind of skin in the game, but also you don't hyper focus on that one team, or it doesn't like, oh, this team sucks. Oh, my guys got hurt. And then, oh, well, I have this other league where I still have it. You know, you have more chances.
Yeah, but don't do like double digits. Do like
no, I don't suggest
3 to 5. 3 to 5 is like my sweet spot.
Yes, there's such a thing as too much. And that's
when you start getting in double digits, it just becomes overwhelming. You forget guys, you forget like, oh my, yeah.
I know, but then you're not worried about it.
Well, no, I'm definitely not. Like I looked at my records today, I'm like, oh wow, look at that. I'm like 2 or 1 and better in every league, and I don't even know how that happened.
There you go.
Because I barely know what's even going on.
Because we're busy doing this. This is more rewarding. Chris Dixon and 1 QB 2 flex, happy PR league, rough start. Would you trade Lamar and Pittman for Jefferson and Walker?
Yes.
Yes.
Like if you're getting Jefferson and Kenneth Walker for Lamar and Pittman, this is the type of trade you look back on and say, I had a rough start, and then I made this trade, and I destroyed my league for the rest of the season.
Somebody out there really wants Lamar. Look, I get it, but you definitely make this deal. Definitely make this deal, Chris. All right, and then Bez back again. 0-3, needs help. Dak, Mostert, Henry, Puka, Ridley, Higgins, Kupp, Goddard, Javonte Ford, Gainwell, Monty, Addison, and Dell. We said to trade Mostert for Devontae Smith. Yes. What else would you do then? You would have Henry, Ford could be your RB2, Monty kind of.
Yeah, Monty will come back. He's solid.
Ridley, Higgins, Kupp.
I mean, I'm going to say what I keep saying, especially when you have a Puka and a Kupp team. Trade Puka. I mean, look, his value did take a bit of a hit last night. He didn't have some crazy record-setting game, but people still really like Puka. Trade Puka. We could see Kupp back in week 5. You might only have to go 1 more week without Kupp. If you can go out and trade Puka and get another, well, let's see. So you'd have, you got Ridley, you got Higgins, you got Kupp. Like if you could go out and get another solid RB for Puka, or even, and you're going to have Devonta Smith, right? So you're going to be great at wide receiver.
Yeah,
trade Puka.
Yeah, trade Puka. Joe did put the super chat here, and so saying he has the first waiver wire. Get a Shane, yes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm in a league where we have Njoku. We need Laporta. He's still on the waiver wire, even though I really, really wanted to pick him up and play him over Njoku last week, but I got overruled. Now we have to fight for him on the waiver wire. I'm still, our number one claim is still A-Shane. This is not one of the endgame leagues, so A-Shane is actually still out there. It's a shallow league. He's still, even though we need Laporta and he's going to be our every week tight end, if A-Shane is that guy, I'll gladly just grab anybody off a waiver wire at tight end and roll with my 4 or 5 points and be fine.
Yeah, it's not like, Musgrave is a guy who's going to score 3 touchdowns, go off and have, no.
Yeah.
I like Musgrave, but Definitely, Shane. It doesn't really matter who you have at running back. Do you need him or not? No, you get him because he has value, and you also get him so somebody else doesn't get him. You know what I mean? You have the number one pick. Be happy. Use it. That's it. Senor Royland, would you trade Ridley or Ayuk to get JT?
I mean, yeah, I would trade one of them. Yes, if you're good at wide receiver, and you at least have Ridley and Ayuk. I'm sure you have other guys. Yeah, I mean, I would trade. I wouldn't trade both of them. But if you said, hey, I'll give you Ridley or Ayuk, and the guy said I want Ayuk, I'd be like, okay, fine, you can have Ayuk. Or if he said I want Ridley, I'd be like, okay, fine, you can have Ridley. Not that I think JT is worth way more than these guys. I think it's very fair, but I'm assuming you're good at wide receiver and you probably need the running back help. So yeah, I think it's very fair.
I would do this. I'd prefer to trade Ayuk, but yeah, agree. If you need a running back, go for it. You can do this. Interesting question here from Jackie Raymond. I'm sorry, this is the first one. Hello from Canada. Hello. Would you trade Rashawn White to get a Shane?
Oh man. Oh geez, I think you have to. I mean, look, Rashawn White has had just brutal matchup after brutal. He had that one good matchup against the Vikings, and that was like it. It's just been like brutal matchup after brutal matchup. But I can't sit here and say Rashawn White has more upside than A-Shane. Maybe Rashawn White is safer because we know he's the guy. He's like the only guy. Like,
but what do you always say? Safer doesn't win championships.
Yeah, just go for a Shane, see what he does.
Yeah, I don't mind doing this. Now, this I don't like as much. He's got another good one. Would you go Jerome Ford and Amari Cooper to get Josh Jacobs?
That's probably too much because I do like Amari Cooper and I do like Jerome Ford. I think it's a little too aggressive. Yeah, a little too aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think you should have to give up that much. Python, T-Law, Tua, Watson, CD, AJB, Ridley, London, Gibbs, Hollishane, Algier Mitchell. Should I trade for an RB or wait? Watson, Tua, and a Shane worth shopping.
Yeah. Is that you have T-Law, Tua, and Deshaun Watson? Is this super flex? Like, please tell me this is super flex.
I don't know. He didn't say he'd followed up here saying he's 0-3. Not too worried. That's good.
Oh, that's good.
But still, yeah. If this is a single quarterback league, you don't need 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, if this is a single quarterback league, I would just be like, hey, if anybody needs a quarterback, let me know. I got 3. And then whatever one somebody wants, give them to them. Like,
what?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, the guy right now who you would be able to sell high is not T-Law, it's Tua because he's been the best. But yeah, if somebody's like, oh, I really want Lawrence, okay, fine.
Yeah, somebody's like, hey, I'll give you Ramondre Stevenson for Tua. Like, okay, sure, give him to him because you can roll with T-Law or Watson. It's fine.
And so guys, you kind of asked Watson or Tua and A-Shane were shopping. Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you don't want to roll with Breece Hall as your starter, and those other guys are just handcuffs.
Yeah. I mean, he's got Gibbs, but yeah.
Definitely trade Watson or Tua, and then, see if you can upgrade. Joker, still early. How are we feeling about Ford/Hunt? Is Hunt a legit threat?
Doesn't look like it. I mean, I know people were like, oh, look, he had 10 carries and Hunt had like 4 or 5. But it's like, yeah, because Hunt got like most of his work in the fourth quarter when they were up like 27-3. Like, this is why you got to look at things. Like I saw somebody posted today, like, oh, here are the splits with Kenneth Gainwell and DeAndre Swift. And it's like 54-45 Swift, this and that. It's like, yeah, but Kenneth Gainwell got like 6 carries on the last drive when the game was completely over. Like like there needs to be some context in this stuff, people.
Yes.
Like it was like in week 1 when Rashawn Johnson went off and it was like, look at Rashawn Johnson. It's like, yeah, but he didn't get a single touch until it was blowout week, like blowout game. Like you gotta look a little deeper than just the stats. So look, they've told us Ford is the guy. He was the guy last week. I think Sal Vetri, if you guys follow him on Twitter or watch him on YouTube, he does tweet a lot of good information, actually. I think he tweeted something that was like, when you looked at it before garbage time, before like Ford got like almost 60% of the running back carries, he got like 60% of the snaps, and he got like a huge part of the target share. It was Ford. So yeah, I don't think Hunt's a legit threat. No.
Not worried about Hunt at all. Ford has looked pretty good. I know the numbers were bad last week against the top run defense, but no, I like Ford rest of the season. I think he really could be just like a solid set forget RB2.
Yep.
Randy Mitchell, a second question was a different team from a different league. Okay.
All right. Let's go back.
We'll
wow,
rewind.
very similar teams, right? It seemed like almost the same team.
Yeah. You get it? You found it?
No, let me go look. He must have drafted a lot of the same players. I'll find it here.
Yeah, sorry about that, Randy. All right, so we're getting back to yours. So we'll look at the second question. Don't want to gloss over it, but
yeah, it's gotta be.
By the way, guys, we're still on here. We're almost caught up with super chat. So we will do some regular comments as soon as we make sure we answer all the people who did put in that super chat.
I think it was this one, right? This was the second team.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay, Herbert, McCaffrey, Sanders, Lockett, Olave, Nakua, Hawk, and Tyler Bass.
See, that's what threw me off is he had Tyler Bass on both teams.
Yeah. Why not? Tua, I guess, and then Warren, Rashawn, Monty, Dobbs, Hunter Henry. All right.
CMC, Sanders, Warren, Rashawn, Monty. I mean, your running backs are okay. I think with CMC, Sanders, and Monty, you should be okay. Lockett, Olave, Nakua, Dobbs. Those are your wide receivers. Definitely would like to see the wide receivers improve, especially when Kupp comes back. I mean, I think this is a time I would be trying to package Nakua, and maybe you can throw in Rashawn Johnson and get a wide receiver. Maybe, I mean, like, you might be able to get T. Higgins right now. I'm not even joking. Like, he's had 2 bad games. But even if not T. Higgins, maybe you can get a Brandon Ayuk. People are like a little down on Ayuk right now because he had a great week 1. Should have had a huge week 2, but Brock Purdy decided to miss him. And then he didn't play in week 3. I mean, look at the trades, Jalen Waddle. What people have gotten for Jalen Waddle. Like, yeah, I would try to package Puka and maybe like a Rashawn or something like that, and see if you can get another wide receiver, because that's like, running backs look okay to me, but I would like to be a little stronger at wide receiver.
I think Dobbs has some value right now because even though Watson is gonna play, he hasn't yet. Dobbs has scored touchdowns. You know, that's what makes the highlights. So I think Dobbs has some value if you need to put him together, you know, with Puka or somebody to upgrade at receiver. You can do that. And as far as drops, I mean, if you have Hawkinson, you really don't need Hunter Henry. You can drop him for a running back stash or an upside receiver. I don't know if Josh Palmer type is out there, but yeah, I don't think you need Hunter Henry. All right, Joe. What's up, Joe?
What's up, Joe?
What can we get for Mostert right now? Well, probably a lot.
I mean, you might be able to get Josh Jacobs for Mostert. Not even joking. I think you could absolutely get James Conner for Mostert right now. Even though Connor's been good, he hasn't been Raheem Mostert good. I mean, I think you could do, I think on the trade video, I did do one where it was like Pickens and Mostert for Jacobs. I bet you if you offered a lot of people with Jacobs, if you said, I'll give you Pickens and Mostert, they will give you Josh Jacobs right now.
Yeah, Jacobs and Connor. Jacobs is a good buy low. I mean, I don't feel like I know I keep saying this. It's like, I don't know what Josh Jacobs is going to do with anything close to what he did last year, right? But he's still solid. He's still going to get all the touches. So I think Jacobs still rest of the season. I prefer him over Mostert. Connor, same thing. So you could go for either of those. Yeah. And then Joe is too dope. Different Joe. CD and Moss for Jamar Chase.
I mean, I want Chase. I want Chase here. I don't think it's like a fleecing or anything. I mean, look, if JT comes back and Moss is just a handcuff, then you're really going to be happy, which I think is possible. But I think it's fair-ish. But I still want Chase. So if you're getting Chase, I do it.
Yeah, you don't need Moss because he's on your bench. Then I think that's fine. Getting Chase, should be helpful long term. And then this one, easy 96. Would you trade Madison for Monty?
Yes.
Yes, I would definitely prefer Monty at this point.
Yes, definitely.
Maximus, thank you. Appreciate the super chat. 10-team PPR. Who should I trade or drop to improve this team? Got Lawrence, Gibbs, Sanders, Jefferson, Olave, Ingram, Nakua, Garrett Wilson, Harris, Connor Pickens, Kirk, Flowers, Ford.
Who should I trade or drop? I don't really see anybody that I feel like is a must drop.
But he's saying, look, top pickups. If I'm reading this right, those guys are all out there.
Madison is still out there. Dell is still out there. Well, it is a 10-team.
I'm surprised still nobody would have picked up Moss.
I mean, like
Shane is still out there.
Are we dropping? I guess. I mean, you might be able to drop Najee in a 10-team. Honestly, like, is somebody really like, oh, Najee's on the waiver wire? Like, especially if these guys are out there. I don't want to be too recency bias here because I like the name that pops out to me the most is Addison or Myers. But you have Gibbs, Sanders, Najee, Connor. You got Jefferson, Olave, Nakua, Pickens, Kirk, Flowers. Like, you're pretty good at wide receiver. I guess you also have Ford too.
A lot of good receivers.
I might drop Najee for a Shane. If you don't get a Shane, put in a claim for Myers or Addison too. But I don't think I could drop anybody else.
Who could we trade here? I mean,
Puka.
Besides the obvious Garrett Wilson and Puka.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you can trade Garrett Wilson, I mean, Puka is obvious. I'm going to keep saying Puka. I'm going to keep saying it. Like, look, I'm not being like, hey, when Cup comes back, Puka's a bust. It's the fact that you can trade Puka. Well, his value may have gone down a little bit, but like at least going into last week, you could trade Puka for legit proven. That's the key word. Proven studs, not a 2-week rookie stud, a proven stud player. I'm sure you still can, especially if you package Puka and I don't know. Like if you did Puka, what if you did like Puka and Connor? Could you get Barkley right now?
In a 10-team league, Puka and Connor.
So you basically you trade away Puka, you trade away Connor, and you upgrade to an RB1 like Barkley, assuming you're okay. Like assuming, of course, you're not like 0-3.
Yeah, I think you have enough good startable players, but you don't have that RB1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Do you think I think this is a team that might be willing, to take a chance and get a guy like a Barkley, a JT,
yeah,
and play long term. I mean, do you think that giving up Gibbs plus a bench piece would be enough?
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. If you again, I would say if you have to do Puka and Gibbs for Barkley, I'd probably do that.
Yeah, I think that's what you need to try.
Yeah, something like that, and get a real RB1. Like it's hard in a 10-team league if you don't have real studs.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You have good startable players, but you need to try to do some package deals, 2-for-1s, that kind of thing, 3-for-2 even. Package some of your startable players to try to get some upgrades at each position. And then let's see, it's going Nathan. Got his team. Who should I trade for Kyron? Yes, just so in case we didn't forget, he went over 200 points last week in his 3-0. Good job. So what do you do? What do you trade Kyron on this team? I think we already kind of talked about this.
Well, he's got Ramondre, and then he's got Gus, Breece Hall. Those are your only running backs. This is maybe not a team to trade Kyron unless you can package Kyron and yeah. I mean, do you really want to You got A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, Keenan Allen, Chris Olave, but then after that, you don't really have much. You got Bourne, Samuel, Slayton, Rondell, Austin, Shaheed. Like, yeah, I mean, those guys are okay, but I mean, is this the time? Like, if you're the problem is if you trade Kyron here, you need a running back.
Yeah.
So you're trading a running back for a running back. And if you're like, usually that only, like, you're not going to trade Kyron and get a better running back probably, unless somebody thinks like Kyron's going to be better than Barkley or he's going to be better than, you know, whoever, Pollard or something, which I hope most people don't think that, but maybe they do. So it'd be easier if you can package Kyron and somebody else and then go get like a Barkley or go get an Eckler or a Pollard or a Jacobs or something like that. So, but I don't know who you could package with him with here, like, because I don't really want to give up any of those wide receivers. Those are studs.
Yeah, this bench, I mean, nobody's wanting those receivers
No.
probably in a trade.
No.
So maybe Breece Hall. I don't know. I doubt it, but
I mean, you could try. Breece Hall still has some value. You could try, I guess.
yeah, maybe try a lateral move. You know, the Josh Jacobs owner might be panicking and say, just give me Kyron Williams. Could try something like that. And then a quick one here from Sir Boomer. Last week, he added Goff. An hour later, was offered James Conner for Goff. I don't get that. I don't get that. Like, oh, you got him. I'll give you my starting running back for that backup quarterback. Nice. All right. Vinny Vargas, 16 team. Should I start Geno or pick up Jameis?
Definitely Geno. I like Geno this week. He's going against the Giants. I'm not playing Jameis in a 1 QB league. Like, look, if it's a super flex league and he's your QB2, okay, but no, I'm not playing him in a 1 QB league over Geno. No way. Too risky.
Wait, yeah. No, look, Geno's got a really good matchup this week. Doesn't he go against the Giants? Yeah, there's no reason not to start Geno. Julio Espinosa, welcome back, Julio, has Pollard, Cook. Hopefully it's James Cook, Rashad White, Kyron Williams, Gibbs, Lockett, Puka, Amari, and Addison. Need 2. Do we trust these receivers? Yeah, mostly.
Yeah, well, let's start at running back. I'm going Cook and Williams. Can't play Rashad White this week in another tough matchup. Actually, wait, do I go Gibbs?
Well, no, he's Pollard, and then we just need one more.
Oh, I didn't see Pollard because he was smushed into the have.
Yeah, smushed.
Have
Pollard and
oh man, it's close. It's close between these guys. Cook, Kyron, Gibbs, all very close for me.
If it's Dalvin Cook, it's a hard no. If it's James Cook,
I'm gonna assume James Cook.
Yeah.
If it's Dalvin Cook, yeah, hard pass. Drop him. I might go James Cook. I like his matchup. I really like all these guys this week, to be honest. They're all very close for me.
The 2 receivers.
It's got Amari and Puka. It's got to be Amari and Puka.
Yeah, Amari and Puka, and then 2 flex.
2 flex. I got to flex Lockett. I can't not flex Lockett. It's just in PPR, just too much upside.
Yeah, this is the Giants.
And then I probably go Kyron over Gibbs and Addison. I like, I still like Addison long term. I really loved him last week. He had some chances, man, but it didn't come through. Don't like him quite as much this week. Although the Panthers, I just saw now their starting safety is out, so they've lost J.C. Horn and their starting safety, so maybe there'll be some chances for him. But I think I'm going Kyron here. So Kyron and Lockett at the flex.
Yeah, again, Pollard and assuming James Cook, those are my 2. Got to start Cooper and Puka. Flex Lockett. Addison, risky. Probably Kyron. Yeah, probably go Kyron. Good matchup. All right. And then Trey on the waiver wire, Tank or A-Shane?
I got to put a Shane 1 simply because he's a running back, and they're just harder to find.
Dell
2, though. Yeah.
Ridley and Cook for Mostert?
No.
If you're giving up Ridley and Cook, no way. Keep Ridley. Keep Ridley. Gary Silva, super flex, Jared Goff or Josh Jacobs?
Well, it is super flex, but I'm still going Jacobs. I mean, like Jared Goff is fine, but I feel like you can. Well, I mean, maybe you can't. Okay, let me rephrase. Let me start over. Who is your replacement for Jared Goff? Is your replacement for Jared Goff Sam Howell or Baker Mayfield or somebody like that? Then I probably keep Goff. Is your replacement for Jared Goff, Geno Smith, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, guys like that? Then I'll take Jacobs because I don't feel like there's a huge difference there between Goff and those guys. So assuming you won't have a huge drop off from Jared Goff to whoever the replacement is, then I'll take Jacobs. But if it's going to be a huge drop off, you're like, well, I got Desmond Ridder as my QB3. Like, yeah, I'm keeping Jared Goff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking to move Goff to get Jacobs, you could do this. If this is just start sit, you're starting Goff.
Okay, yeah, I guess I had just assumed it was a trade. But yeah, if it starts sit, it's Goff.
Yeah, you go with the quarterback. Ramu drop. Oh, I think we already answered this. Drop Ferguson for Musgrave. Yeah, I think you can do this. I like Musgrave this week. Daniel Kapskinen. All right. Have Demont, Ford, Moss, Madison. Who should I trade to get Addison?
I mean, I think you could probably trade any of these guys and get Addison, to be honest, but I would trade Madison. Well, I say it's close between Madison and Moss only because, like, if JT comes back and takes over that role, Moss is like literally he's back to the waiver wire, right? He's just basically a handcuff.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, we're like, but what if JT gets traded? Or what if Jim Irsay is like, I don't care that it's going to hurt my team. My ego is bigger than the team, which I can see Jim Irsay doing.
I can see that.
So I think either Moss or Matt. I would trade either Moss or Madison for Addison.
If you can trade Madison right now, do it. While he still has some value. If not, then it's Moss. I'm holding Ford. Would you trade Ridley for Higgins?
Yeah, I still prefer Higgins. I do. I just still prefer Higgins. I know he's had but I still prefer Higgins.
I'm going Ridley. I still think Ridley will be good. Higgins, I'm not worried about Higgins, nothing like that. I mean, I like them both, but yeah, I don't feel like you're getting an edge necessarily.
Yeah, I'd rather pretty lateral trade here. Yeah.
Emilio with another one. Hurts for Chase is off. Okay. That's too bad. He's counter offering Lamar for Chase. I would still do that. That's me.
Yeah, and 2 QB, I still want Lamar. Yeah, and 2 QB.
Did I ask for Lamar and Olave? Well, if you can get a Lamar and Olave, I mean, do that like in a nanosecond.
Yeah, but I doubt. I mean, if he wouldn't give you Hurts for Chase, he's not going to give you Lamar and Olave.
Yeah, try to get Lamar.
You could try, but
you
just always be
something else.
Look, always one thing I've learned over the years. Like, yes, you want to try to get the maximum, but be careful when somebody counters with a very fair offer, and then you re-counter with an unfair offer, because that person may then just get offended and be like, well, no, we're done now. Nope, I'm not even trading with you now. And now instead of getting Lamar, you get nothing. So just be very careful when you decide, like, hey, I'm like, it's not like he countered with a horrible offer. It's not like he said, I'll give you Goff for Chase or something like that, or like, I'll give you Brock Purdy for Chase. He countered with a very fair offer. So just be careful if you're going to re-counter with a not so fair offer. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, if you think you could get that, but yeah, like you said, I think you probably would have to throw something in to get Lamar and Olave, Chase, and I don't know, Ayuk? Maybe like a Pacheco or something.
Yeah, maybe Ayuk, because like
even Ayuk, that would still be good for you.
Yes, it would still be good for you, and it's not insulting.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Daniel Chavez, full PPR, choose two: Gibbs, Ford, Akers, Rashawn, and Jalen Warren. Well, you can't start Akers.
It's got to be the first two.
It's the first.
You can't start Akers. You don't even know how much he's going to play. I mean, Jalen Warren is interesting because it's the Texans, but he's still like clearly not getting a ton of touches. Rashawn, it's got to be the first two.
Definitely the first two. And then Rough Times 3-0 wants to trade package Ford for Cup and Waddle. So who Who would you put with Ford to try to get one of those stud receivers? Maybe Evans?
Yeah, Evans. I mean, look, if you want to be fair about it, Evans. If you want to try to fleece, even though I like Flowers, I think if you did Ford and Flowers for one of those guys, that would be a fleecing. If you want to be like, if you want to send a fair offer that could potentially get accepted, it's probably Evans.
I think I would do that. Yeah. Kane Train got offered Hurts, AJ, Sanders, and Waller.
All right.
For Pollard, Andrews, Najee. I have Dak, Barkley, Terry, Puka, Addison, Deontay, Algier, MT, Pierce. I mean, your running backs. I mean, I know Barkley will come back, but yeah, running back is going to be a little thinner. AJ.
This is kind of interesting because I mean, obviously, I mean, Hurts is a nice upgrade over Dak. Najee is like almost just a throw-in. So it's almost like Hurts, AJ Brown, Sanders, and Waller for Pollard and Andrews. I think I got to favor the left side here, the Hurts side.
Yeah, I think having a Hurts and AJ as that stack, that gives you the edge.
Yeah, and then look, I mean, I don't think Waller is going to be anything great at tight end, but he's at least a guy you can just put in your lineup every week and not worry about it. And Sanders is a serviceable running back. Like I don't think Pollard and Andrews is enough to make up for everything you're giving up here. So, because to me, Najee, like you don't even want to start Najee right now. So, I'll take that left side.
Yeah, and it's like I'm not crazy about Waller. I think he's going to have a good week this week, but I still rather have Andrews. But yeah, you're getting Hurts and AJB, and then Sanders is startable. So I think you'll still be okay at running back when Barkley, Sanders, and then you're getting that stack there. So yeah, I think you're getting more value in the left side. So yeah, I would take that. Nico Santoso in the 10 team standard half PPR. T-Law, Hill, Amon-Ra, Olave, Ramondre, K9, Laporta, Muth, and JT is chilling. Got offered Kelsey for Sun God and Laporta.
No, I don't think so. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know it's tempting, but it's not like because now, I mean, you're going to have Hill, Olave, and I mean, I guess those are going to be your only wide receivers. I mean, is this a league where you only can start 2 wide receivers? Like you don't are one of these guys on your bench every week? Like every week you're benching Olave or Amon-Ra or Tyreek Hill? I mean, that's really the only way I could see doing this because
probably not. I mean, you'd think you'd have to at least start 2 in a flex, and then I don't think it's no. I think I'd rather hold him Amon-Ra and Laporta because Laporta seems like he's a solid start now every week.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not going to sit here and say Laporta and Kelsey is going to end up being close, but Laporta is not going to kill you. Like it's not like it's not like you're rolling out like David and Njoku or every week or something, and it's killing you.
Right. Yeah, it's close, but no, I don't think you need to do this. And then Mark, sorry if we missed you earlier. Mark Hoffman, PPR. Who am I starting this week? Okay, we got Hurts, Ridley, Olave, Higgins, Bijan, Pollard, Laporta. On the flex, James Cook. Bench is Flowers, London, Nico, JT, Dobbs, Pitts, AR.
I mean, I think you're starting what you have. There's nobody on your bench that I'm starting over your starting lineup. Like Ridley, Olave, Higgins, that's great. Bijan, Pollard, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm not starting Pitts over Laporta.
Yeah, sadly.
I don't think I'm not flexing any of those guys over James Cook. You're good. You're good with what you have.
Yeah, I'm kind of done with Pitts for now. Sorry. So you just go with the guy who's producing a little bit more. Laporta. Flowers, some weeks you will start Flowers. I definitely would have started Flowers last week over James Cook. This week, I like James Cook a lot. I think he's going to be a boom play. Just saying. So I think you're good. I think you got JT Dobbs. Yeah, no, I'm not going to bench any of those guys. I think you're good too. All right, then we got Only Crypt. I guess I said that right. Traded Moss and Mostert for Puka, Stevenson, Dotson, and Schultz. Wow, Dalton Schultz. That's the name I've not heard in a long time.
Right. I mean, this has to be good for you. Like, you traded 2 running backs who probably are at the height of their value, and will probably at some point soon here see their value plummet. You got Stevenson, who's pretty much at the low point of his value. You got Puka. You got Dotson, who's also at the low point of his value. So, yeah, I think this has to be good for you.
Yeah, I think that's fine because you traded 2 running backs. You got a solid running back in Stevenson. Getting Puka is okay. I mean, because, again, Moss, who knows what's going to happen with him a couple of weeks from now. What else can I do? I mean, your starting lineup is still pretty good. I don't think you need to do much else.
I mean, maybe you could upgrade tight end, but it's not that easy. So, yeah, the rest of your team, your team looks great.
Yeah, I think that was fine. I think that was a fine deal. That's a good, way of selling high. We got Wallace the Great, has Swift, Gibbs, Brees Hall, and Pollard. Got offered Olave and JT for Pollard.
This is tough.
He's worried because his number 1 receiver is Christian Watson. So now you actually will have a legit wide receiver 1.
Yeah, I think it's more than fair value. It might even be a slight overpay. But yeah, if your wide receiver 1 is going to be Christian Watson, and you got Swift, you got Gibbs and Pollard, yeah, I'm just staying put. I'm staying put.
You're keeping Pollard?
Yeah, just because I don't really want Christian Watson as my wide receiver 1.
Well, but I think he's saying he's gonna get Olave. I got offered Olave.
Because he says I have Swift, Gibbs, Hall, Pollard.
Right, and so he would be trading Pollard to get Olave and JT. My wide receiver 1 is Christian Watson, so he's like, I want a better receiver. So he needs Olave because he doesn't really have a true. I mean, I don't know who you've been rolling out a receiver because Christian Watson hasn't played. So,
I mean, okay, that makes sense. It's a fair offer. It's not like a low ball. It's definitely fair. Like, I don't really want Christian Watson as my wide receiver 1 either. So, you got Swift, you got Gibbs. They can get you by. Hopefully, JT is back week 5. Yeah, I mean, I hate giving up Pollard, but I think in this case it makes sense.
I think it's worth the risk because, look, I know you don't want Swift as your RB1, right? Or Gibbs as your RB1 because that's what would happen until JT comes back. So you're taking a chance here. But once JT does come back, you're good at running back. And then you do at least have Olave. Yeah, I'd rather have Pollard than Olave right now. But if JT comes back and is at least solid, I think you're getting the better end of this deal. So, yeah. I think you can do this. Figgy Smalls with the trade Sanders and Ford for Jacobs.
Yes, like a guy you just picked up off waiver wire and like a low end RB2. I'll gamble on Jacobs for sure.
Yeah, I think so. All right, Mark, we already got yours. Which, by the way, guys, it's it has been a long night. We're 3 hours in pretty much. So last chance, get those super chats in. Don't worry. We'll be back tomorrow if you didn't get your regular chat answered, but let's do the last few here. So Ramu, Lamar Jackson or Cousins, Ramondre, Bijan, JJ, Ayuk, Waddle, Ferguson, Dell, Sutton, Watson, Spears, Algier. What would you do?
I mean, I would trade. First thing that jumps out is offer. Tell your league like, hey, one of my QBs is available. I'm guessing most people will prefer Lamar, but you never know. Cousins have been awesome. And if somebody gives you anything decent, I don't mean like Rashawn Johnson or,
No.
I mean, like not that I don't like Rashawn Johnson, but I just know a lot of people are high on him right now. I'm talking about like somebody decent who could actually like be a starter for you.
Right.
Doesn't have to be a stud, but like somebody's like here, like take like Miles Sanders. I would take Miles Sanders. Just it's like, hey, not that I love it. I don't know I love Miles Sanders, but he like during bye weeks, you'll be happy you have Miles Sanders. But whatever. I would offer that. But I mean, really, like you got Ramondre, Bijan, you got JJ Ayuk, Waddle, Dell Sutton, you got Watson. I mean, Spears, Algier. You're pretty good. I mean, maybe you can get a tight end for Lamar. Maybe somebody will give you Dallas Goedert for Lamar because they're like Dallas Goedert's not very good. Take him.
Yeah. I think he was the one I asked earlier to drop Ferguson for Musgrave. And we're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but you're great at receiver, right? You're great at receiver here. JJ Waddle, Ayuk, Watson is your 4th receiver. Sutton is your 5th receiver. You're great at receiver. You got 2 quarterbacks that are among the top, and you got 2 really good starting running backs. So really, it's just running back depth or tight end.
Yeah, that's why I say, like, just say, hey, I'm willing to trade one of my quarterbacks. And if somebody gives you a halfway decent running back or halfway decent tight end, just say, sure, I'll take it, and just roll with the other guy.
You go, Ranjit. Should I trade Cup and Algier for Gibbs and DJ Moore?
No, definitely. I mean, look, I know Algier is nothing more than a handcuff, but I mean, DJ Moore at this point we can't be excited about. Gibbs, I still think has potential, but Cooper Kupp, head and shoulders better than everybody in this trade. Don't trade it. Don't trade Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, if you're looking to trade away Kupp, which I wouldn't, but if you're trying to get something back because you need help at a certain position, get more than that. You can get more than that. This is not like if you want to buy low on DJ Moore, sure, but this isn't it. So no, don't do that. Josh reacts. Do the most for wild trade. Can't hit the accept button. Okay, let's walk you through this. Go open Sleeper or whatever your app is.
Yeah, pick up your finger, click.
I mean,
I'm just gonna like, okay, real quick. I know we're behind, and we got to get through some more super chats here, but just for context, just so people right now because I know it's hard. Like even I do this. It's hard to like not look at what is happening right now and think that's what's going to continue. Last year, your RB3 after 3 weeks was James Robinson. Your RB4 was Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Your RB5 was DeAndre Swift. Your RB6 was Cordero Patterson. Your RB8 was Jamal Williams. Your RB9 was Khalil Herbert. Your RB12 was Antonio Gibson. Like, it's hard right now to look at these guys and think they're not just going to keep doing it, but chances are they're probably not going to keep doing it because Raheem Mostert has never been this guy. We know Jalen Waddle is a stud. Like, we know this. We've seen it over long periods of time. When you can get a proven stud for an unproven guy who is playing out of his mind, just take the proven stud. It almost never fails. Almost never.
Like, I love me some Raheem Mostert. I'm a Dolphin fan, but he's a 31-year-old running back with an extensive injury history.
Yes.
Just on the basis of what you know about these players, it just makes sense. You want to take the young stud receiver over the old running back. And then don't forget that his not even backup anymore, his running back, whatever you want to call him, is just as fast and younger and had a better game than him. I mean, no, okay. Do it. Just do it. Jamar Joseph, would you drop Akers for Yes,
you have to. And
I'm an Akers fan, former Akers fan, I guess, but no, you got to do this. Mike B, Ford and Puka for Chase.
This is the definition of sell high right here. Yes,
definitely. That's a good move. Nico again, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, a tight end, a flex, have Addison, Jason, Dotson, bench.
Okay.
I feel like we're missing something. I know he had just.
I mean, are these your flex? If these are your flex options, I'm going Addison. If that's what you're asking, like this is you're asking for who in the flex, I'm going Addison. But that's all I got. I don't know what else you could be asking here.
Let me go back because it wasn't that long ago. See if I can find, because he had said 10 team. He had that really good team. Well, that was a trade question. Look, if you are trying to pick one, it would be Addison.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming this is the same team you're talking about here. Hill, Amon-Ra, Olave.
Okay.
Yeah.
So two running back, two wide receiver, and a flex.
Then you have to start all three of those receivers.
Yeah. So you're doing Ramondre and Walker. You're doing the 3 receivers. Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, forget Addison.
Yeah.
All right. And then we got Tristan Morgan got offered Mostert for Connor. Interesting.
So this is where, like, I'm going to say long term, I still prefer Connor. So, like, in a vacuum, I'd be like, yeah, take it. But here's the but. You can get more for Mostert right now than just James Conner. Like, you should be able to get more. So I don't know what wide receivers this guy has, but if the person that's offering you Connor, or are they offering you Mostert for Connor?
He said he got offered Mostert. Like I think he's getting Mostert and just giving up Connor.
Oh, then no, I keep Connor. Honestly, I keep Connor. Like Connor's looked great, and I feel better about him long term because who's taking touches from him long term? Keontae Ingram? No,
Nobody.
like
And
I prefer
he's
Connor.
saying he's got the number one claim, so he can take a Shane, and there's that way. Look, you got the Dolphins running back that's just as good as Mostert.
Yeah, keep Connor, but still pick up a Shane.
Yeah, there you go. Brian Robinson, not the Commanders running backs, with a Y, not an I. 0-3. Got Lawrence. That doesn't help. Swift, Saquon definitely doesn't help. Kamara, Algier, Debo, AJ Brown, Hollywood, JT, Richardson, Henry, Waller has to win this week.
I don't know if you have to win this week, but certainly it would be nice to win this week. The problem is you have Barkley, who may not play. You have JT, who definitely is not playing. Like, you have a lot of guys. Hopefully Richardson plays, because I would play him over T-Law this week. I just think he has too much upside. But, like, you have a lot of guys who, like, yeah, if they were healthy, this team would be fantastic, but they're not. So, but you got Swift, you got Debo, AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, it might be time to try to trade one of these guys, like Saquon or JT, if you can get, like, you know, maybe you can get like a good wide receiver and a good running back. So this might be a time where I do a 2-for-1 where I give up the one. I don't normally like doing that. But, like, let's say you could trade Saquon right now and get like Brandon Ayuk and I don't know, Joe Mixon. Even though I'm not super high on Joe Mixon, he's like fine as an RB2. He can get you by, right?
Right.
That can get you the win this week, and then hopefully JT comes back 100% next week, and now you're rolling and you're good. But because, yeah, the problem is you need a win this week, but 2 of your best players aren't playing. Probably. I'm assuming Barkley's going to be out.
Yeah, I highly doubt he's playing. I mean, I know it's hard. You feel like, oh, I'm out of it if I lose. Not necessarily. Like, think about it. In a couple of weeks, you got Saquon and JT as your 2 running backs and Swift as your 3rd guy. You're going to feel a lot better. You got AJ Brown and Debo. You're good. Would prefer to see some more receiver depth here for sure. This week, I'll say stick with Waller. I'm going to say keep Waller in there. It's okay if you put Richardson over Lawrence this week. And then you're going to have to start Kamara, I guess, for the time being. Yeah, try to get another really solid receiver. Yeah. Good luck. So I'm going to say, okay, what about that boy Los Swift for Jacobs?
This is where it gets tough. Because Swift looks great. The offensive line is insane. Tampa Bay going into yesterday was like the the top 6 or 7 run defense. And he just went for 130 yards on him. On like what, 16 carries, 17 carries? Well, I think he got 30 carries again.
Exactly.
I mean, this Eagles offensive line is just a force. It's just a force. Man, this is definitely where it gets tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna say if it's me, I'm holding Swift. If you have Swift, I mean, I get wanting to sell high on a player and I get wanting to buy low, but when a guy is clearly outperforming another, like maybe you're just tricking yourself. It's like I'm gonna keep with the guy who look Swift. We know has always been one of the more talented running backs in the league. He just needed this. He needed this change of scenery. So I'm not denying Swift and Jacobs. I'm not worried that much about him, but yeah, I don't think I do this.
Yeah, I might just hold Swift here.
Yeah, let's see Jacobs do something against the Chargers. How about that? Mike B, 12 team got Waddle, Puka, Addison, CMC, Rashad White, Ford, Andrews, JT, and Wilson. Moves for this type of team.
Waddle, Puka, Addison, CMC, White, Ford, Andrews, JT, and Jeff Wilson. Well, I guess you got JT and Jeff Wilson on IR, I hope. If JT's like on your bench and Jeff Wilson, if you only have one IR spot and it's Jeff Wilson, I would drop Jeff Wilson, move JT to IR, and pick somebody up. Waddle, Puka, Addison, CMC. I mean, I don't really know I don't know what moves you can make. I like the team. Like Rashawn White's been killing you, but you got Jerome Ford. You hopefully have JT coming back. I don't really see any major moves you can make here.
Look, you got one of the best tight ends there. You got the best running back at CMC. You got a guy who can fill in, I think, every week at RB2 with Ford until JT comes back. And then, Waddle, Puka, Addison. I mean, you've got good receivers, not an outstanding receiver core for a 12-team league, I guess, is what I would say. I'm trying to figure out, like where the money went, like how you don't have maybe a better receiver because Puka was a pickup. That's what I'm saying. Because like Waddle, maybe he was the first receiver you took. You went CMC, you went Waddle. Maybe you took Andrews, JT early, I guess. I would prefer to have him like a legit number 2 receiver. But I don't want to necessarily trade JT to do it. So I think you're fine the way you are. I think you're still fine. Okay, Josh still needs a push. Let's just firmly shove. He's saying he has Tyreek Hill, so maybe nervous having too many really good Dolphins receivers.
Okay, but you'd rather have like a Dolphin receiver and a Dolphin running back? Like, I'm still doing it.
If for some reason, I don't know why you want to do this. I mean, don't trade Tyreek Hill. Don't know. Just do it. Just do it. Yes, do it. Do it. Let's see. Bihan 18, 0-3 again. Okay, so Lamar, Bijan, Jacobs, Kyron, Diggs, Ridley, Komet. Yes, maybe upgrade tight end. What else though?
Yeah, drop Komet for almost anybody on waivers. Hunter Henry, Luke Musgrave, whatever, drop them. Yeah, definitely upgrade tight end. I mean, this can't be your whole team.
Yeah, this looks like just the starting lineup. I mean, who else?
I mean, again, look, Jacobs has been killing you, but I think he's gonna be much better this week. I'm gonna say try to trade Kyron while he still has some value. You only start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. Like, I guess Kyron's your flex. Like, trade him for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Trade him for T. Higgins. I'll bet you could get T. Higgins right now, no problem.
Yeah. Hold Jacobs, trade Kyron, definitely upgrade tight end. I mean, like anybody really. Just pick up somebody. There's got to be somebody you can pick up. And then I don't think this is another one from Tristan.
Justice Hill.
Hill, Gainwell, Akers. Which one would you drop to get A Shane?
Yeah, probably Hill. Probably Justice Hill. Justice Hill. Yeah, Justice Hill.
Because just Justice Hill. You can drop Justice Hill. I mean, you could drop any of these guys. Really, it won't be a big difference. But Hill is probably the guy. And then I can never tell. It must be an Alec. 10-man, half PPR at quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 flex, and a tight end. I have Mahomes, CMC, Aaron Jones, Adams, Kirk, Ingram, A. Shane, Lockett, and JT on IR. That's a pretty good team, even for 10 team. Would you go Hollywood over Kirk?
No, I know Hollywood's been good 2 weeks in a row, but so is Kirk. And I trust Trevor Lawrence and the Jags more than I trust Josh Dobbs and the Cardinals still. So I'm going Kirk.
Yeah, you gotta go Kirk. Kirk's got the upside. There's nothing to be scared of this week with that matchup right against the Falcons. So and Hollywood against the 49ers. So you've got good players. I mean, I hope this team isn't 0-3. You shouldn't be. So
no, it shouldn't be.
There we go. This is the perfect way to end it. Finally did it. Thank you. Now we can sleep easy.
Oh, thank goodness.
All right. So guess what? Let's do it again tomorrow. We had a good time. We're going to be to answer your trade questions like this. If you maybe still got waiver wire questions or anything else, start sit. It's never too early to set those lineups because, hey, football on Thursday. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll see you tomorrow about the same time. Quick reminder, if you haven't already, I don't know, just, you know what? Keep telling Josh, just do it. Just do it. Okay. Anybody who hasn't joined Underdog, just do it. There's no reason not to. $10. That's all you need to do. You can do 20, whatever it is. If you're new to Underdog and you sign up and you use that promo code, of course, Endgame, or just click the link that we have conveniently for you down there. You click there and you join. You use code Endgame. Every dollar you put in, you get 100% match up to $100. And there's a freebie for new customers. You get that Pick'em Jared Goff, just 1 yard. And then you just pair with anything else. And we do, when you watch our start sit videos, we always give you some of our favorite picks, who to go higher or lower on. You don't have to pick ours. Pick anyone you like. And then you can, again, get more money. That's the way it works. So check it out if you haven't already. All right. That's it. We will see you again tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. We appreciate you joining us.